Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. National Transfer. Weak Wizards. I Can Dissect the Gods. Chapter 61. This silver-level greatsword was the weapon of the Death Knight at that time. Silver rank Katakana Middle. Death Knight's Greatsword. Attributes. Strength plus 22. This silverware is very ordinary. It can't compare to Chen Yuan's blue ring at all. Not only is there only one attribute bonus, but there is no special additional ability. It would not be a pity if it was used to feed greed. He threw the silver giant sword in his hand towards the greedy snake. I saw with my own eyes that its two heads madly gnawed at the silver giant sword. At this time, Chen Yuan understood the reason why the greedy devil appeared in this image. Greedy, possession of all things in the world, only going in, not going out, that's how this little snake with only a head and no tail came into being. If there is no contract, it is estimated that even 10% of the attribute return does not exist, right? Greedy demon, devours equipment and returns a total of 2 attributes to the contractor. Attributes with less than 1 point will be returned after accumulatively reaching 1 point. The upper limit of the attributes that can be swallowed by greed, in the larval stage, 50 points per day. With the beeping down, Chen Yuan's personal panel. The attribute corresponding to strength jumped up by 2 points. Feeling the extra power in his body, Chen Yuan was quite satisfied. In this way, you can swipe dungeons in the future or use the extra equipment dropped by the secret realm. All can let the greedy snake complete the devouring and return it to himself. Although the current larval stage is limited to 50 attributes per day, that is, a maximum of 5 points will be returned to him. But this is already quite a lot, and the accumulation of sand becomes a tower. With the accumulation of time, this extra attribute will be extremely considerable. Coincidentally, the last time I cleared Loyan Island, I also rewarded Chen Yuan with a piece of silverware. I just haven't been able to check it out. Silver rank Katakana Middle. Flame ring. Attribute mental power plus 1/8. Another common piece of equipment. It is still the same part of the 29 dark blue ring, so there is no way to equip it at the same time. Throw it directly to greedy to eat, and return 1 point of mental power. So far, Chen Yuan's property panel is quite luxurious. Attributes. Strength, 27. Agility, 21. Mental power, 86. Except for the mental power of the perverted level. Strength and agility attributes have reached the level of silver-priced melee class occupations. This is still the case that Chen Yuan has not spent any energy on this aspect at all. Otherwise, it shouldn't be a big problem to be a body-refining wizard. Close the properties panel and refocus on the greedy snake. Gluttony is the end of the experiment, but unfortunately, greedy needs to devour demons. Demons are really rare in Longxia. Just when Chen Yuan regretted not being able to experiment with the greedy snake's ability to devour demons, Kai Fei on the side suddenly became hesitant and seemed to want to say something. Chen Yuan noticed her abnormality and cast a questioning look at her. What do you want to say? I actually knew that there was a demon near Hangxi. It's just that it's a bit tricky to deal with, I wasn't sure whether to say it or not just now. Kai Fei said hesitantly. You can talk about it in detail. Hearing that there are demons near Hangxi who can provide experiments, Chen Yuan suddenly became interested. Seeing Chen Yuan's excited appearance, Kai Fei had no choice but to tell what she knew. When you first saw me, wasn't I in a coma because of the injury? Actually, I was attacked by that demon. The reason for the attack was that I stole the Yuyan flower in its cave. 1. The strength of that demon is not very strong, it is similar to mine at the time, it should be a low-level silver rank. However, it has the ability to manipulate shadows. The shadows are also mixed with special black gas, which will corrode wounds and absorb vitality. Hearing what Kai Fei said, Chen Yuan suddenly recalled the situation when he met her in the Plain of Weeping. He still remembered that the black mist in the non-wound area was finally absorbed by the group. Do you still remember the way? Let's go and have a look together. Fine. Quote, deep in the plains of Wailing, there are 2 figures galloping. The 2 were Zhou Mu and Kuching. They were originally in the Eastern Theater. The reason why I came to Hangzhou today, in order to carry out a secret mission of the military. Passing the test center and meeting Chen Yuan, in fact, it was just a coincidence. Since the invitation was rejected by Chen Yuan, they naturally stopped worrying about it and started to continue the task. Sakura dog dares to do something in our territory, let's see if I won't kill him later. On the way to the destination, Kuching cursed fiercely. The Sakura dog in his mouth was a spy from the Sakura kingdom who smuggled into Longxia. His name is Higashitaro, a ninja whose strength is around the golden level. Since he smuggled to Longxia, he has used his professional ability to steal information from many military bases and then send it back to Sakura country. Although the information he stole was not too important, it did not cause any substantial loss to Longxia. But this behavior is a real provocation. Just because this Higashitaro was cautious. Coupled with the bonus of the ninja profession, it makes him look like a loach and is extremely difficult to catch. After information collection and network deployment, the military finally learned of his trajectory in advance. According to the information obtained by the military intelligence section from the informant, Higashitaro will appear in the depths of the Weeping Plain outside Hang City tonight. In order not to frighten the snakes, the military prepared to send Jomyu and Kuching, 2 people, to go into battle lightly, intending to capture Higashitaro and send them back to the military for torture tonight. You can't kill him, you have to take him back to the military for a good interrogation, in order to be worthy of his many credits. Jomyu said with a light smile. But in those eyes, there were bursts of murderous aura. He who treats people peacefully on weekdays, when faced with foreign disasters, seems to have changed his personality. Deep in the plains of Wailing, outside a cave, a short-statured man suddenly appeared here. Those repulsive-looking inverted triangular eyes kept scanning the surroundings. This person is the Sakura country spy, Higashitaro, who is listed as a wanted criminal by the military. After confirming that no one was around, he took out what looked like a compass from his pocket. This compass is the Umbra compass, specially built by their Dongjing family. The Dongjing family is one of the major ninja families in the Sakura country. The awakened professionals in the family are almost all of the special occupations of the Sakura country, ninjas. Not only that, but different from the other ninja families in Sakura country, the Dongjing family has a special tradition. Every ninja of the Dongjing family has only one Umbra that belongs to him. Only then can he become a glorious clan member of the Dongjing family and obtain the secret method of the family. Otherwise, it will always be an outsider, and will never be able to inherit the true inheritance of the Dongjing family. The so-called Umbra is a special term used by the Dongjing family. Their real name is Shadow Demon. Only through the family secret method has conquered a Shadow Demon. The Shadow Ninjutsu, which can only heal well and sick, exerts its power. Watch as the pointer of the Umbra compass points firmly to the cave in front of you. A smile appeared on Higashitaro's face. Yoshi. I didn't expect that there really exists a demon of shadows here. After a while, he will leave this disgusting Longxia and return to his hometown of Sakura country. As long as he can subdue the demon of the shadow, and when he returns to the family, he will be able to successfully be promoted to the honorable clansman and obtain the family inheritance. Looking at the dark cave, Higashitaro not only did not have the slightest fear, but his face was full of anticipation. The secret method of their Dongjing family to conquer the Shadow Demon, an adult from the Star-Striped Kingdom. That lord is now a platinum-ranked demon bishop, one of the most powerful demon rulers in the world today. Using his method to conquer the Shadow Demon, the success rate is almost 70%. Higashitaro has absolute confidence in his own strength. Combined with the secret technique, the success rate should be more than 90%. After conquering the demon of shadow, the power of my shadow ninjutsu will be greatly improved. The last time, it should be the day of the Longxia exam. Before leaving Longxia, why should I, Higashi Jingtaro, leave a trace of glory? With a cruel smile on the corner of his mouth, Higashitaro walked straight into the cave in front of him. About 20 minutes after Higashitaro entered the cave, the figure of one person and one fox appeared at the place where Higashitaro stood just now. It was Chen Yuan and Kai Fei who came to capture the greedy snake that the demon used to feed. Is it in here? Chen Yuan asked while looking at the dark cave at the entrance in front of him. Akihito nodded. She still remembered that she was just looking for a temporary place to live. But after entering this cave, I unexpectedly discovered that there was a secluded flower growing inside. This unexpected joy made Kai Fei not notice the wriggling shadow on the cave wall. After Kai Fei plucked the Yuyan flower, the shadow had already launched an attack on her. The strange black energy made Kai Fei not dare to fight with her, so she could only use all her strength to escape. But despite this, he was still injured, and the wound was still infected with black gas. Thinking about it now, if she hadn't met Chen Yuan, she might have become a corpse now. Then I'll blow it up first to draw the devil out. 1. Chen Yuan directly decided the way to do it. He had no interest in going into the dark cave himself. Anyway, the demon who can manipulate the shadow is not a demon of strength, and will not be killed by an explosion. The Ghost King, who had not appeared for a long time, was pulled out of the ghost ring by Chen Yuan again. After finally being able to see the light again and let out a breath, the Ghost King was obviously very happy, and even rubbed Chen Yuan affectionately. All right, come here quickly," Chen Yuan said helplessly. Jia, the Ghost King suddenly had a bad feeling. But before it could react, Chen Yuan's hand was already on it. The mental power was completely drained again, and the reason became confused again. Punishment of sacrifice of reason, blast towards the cave. Just heard a loud bang. The huge impact force instantly raised the cave in front of to the ground. Give the Ghost King level essence that has become stupid again, lest Chen Xing will take it back to the Ghost Blue Ring after this guy is stunned. Cough, cough, I think this Ghost King is quite cute, why don't you change it next time? Kai Fei, who was beside her, couldn't stand it any longer and asked tentatively. She always felt that the Ghost King who came out that day was a little pitiful, like a tool man. I think it's cute too, and it's easy to handle. Chen Yuan agreed with Kai Fei's statement. Then he turned his head and focused on the cave that had collapsed in front of him. Kai Fei. Soon, the dust raised after the cave collapsed gradually settled. Only, from the ruins of the cave. Why doesn't it seem to be a demon, but a figure? Just when Chen Yuan was puzzled. Just heard a curse. Idiot, the short man appeared slightly embarrassed. This person is Higashi Taro. After conquering the shadow demon, he was about to leave. As a result, before reaching the entrance, the entire cave collapsed inexplicably. If it weren't for his quick moves and strong ninjutsu, it is estimated that he would have been directly pressed down. At this time, he came out and saw Chen Yuan standing not far away. Toy Taro was stunned for a moment. But then, an identification technique struck instantly. Bronze LV.17 Wizard. After seeing Chen Yuan's message, Dongjing Taro's expression instantly changed from vigilance to playful cruelty. Unexpectedly, just after he conquered the demon of shadow, a Longxia person came to try it out for him. It should be easy to crush a piece of bronze-ranked garbage to death, right? But I didn't wait for Dongjing Taro to do it. Just hear the voice on the other side. How can there be a Sakura native here? And it seems reasonable to be called a Japanese. You're short, and small. How do you feel like you're related to a goblin? This word reached Higashi Taro's ears. His face immediately turned gloomy and livid. The corners of his mouth twitched, and his eyes flashed with a strong murderous intent. In his life, the most self-abased thing was being laughed at for being short in stature. But this Longxia person in front of him even brought all the people of Sakura to insult. Die. The shadow behind Higashi Taro. It suddenly started to squirm, and then, it turned into a large shadow and devoured it towards Chen Yuan. The shadow of this blockbuster, like dark waves, exudes a strange smell. This kind of shadow tide can not only cause harm to people, it will also leave the black energy that absorbs vitality on the wound. The original Kai Fei was injured by this attack. After desperately running out of the maximum attack range of the shadow demon, he barely escaped. Seeing him again, under the influence of psychological shadow, he naturally seemed a little nervous. This is the ability of that demon, be careful not to get hit. Kai Fei stared at the wave of shadows that came, and reminded aloud. But Chen Yuan turned a blind eye to her words. He just watched Higashi Taro on the opposite side with interest. Golden rank IV.32 Shadow Ninja. This guy is a ninja. Still a ninja, although Chen Yuan has not heard of this branch occupation. But literally, it should have a lot to do with the shadow. However, this is where the demon of shadow is, and he uses the ability of the demon of shadow. Could it be The shadow demon in the cave. Captured by him. But the problem is, this Sakura Japanese occupation is not a demon ruler. How to make a contract with the devil? Traded to demon power. Just thinking about it, the oncoming shadow wave has arrived. Chen Yuan didn't like to be interrupted when he was thinking, so he was too lazy to move. A mask of nothingness appeared on his face. Reached out and pulled Kai Fei. Ability to activate. False nothingness. In that moment, the two seemed to have disappeared from the world. Completely, disappeared into nothingness. The tide of shadows came violently. But no harm was done. Directly penetrated the past. Wait for the shadows to dissipate. The figures of the two appeared from the void again. As if everything just now had never happened. This scene. It made Higashi Taro on the opposite side stunned. He rubbed his eyes, and there were indeed two people standing in front of him. But just now, what happened? Suddenly it was as if the world had evaporated. Not only is it invisible, but even the shadow tide has no effect. This made Dongjing Taro doubt his life. He has just signed a trading contract with the shadow demon according to the method of the demon bishop. The original script was for him to use the power of shadow tide to easily kill the Longsha boy who dared to insult him. But why didn't things go the way he expected? Just when Higashi Taro was confused, a look of sudden realization appeared on Chen Yuan's face. Hey, the Japanese over there, I have a question for you. The transaction contract you signed with this shadow demon. Did you exchange your flesh and blood for the power to manipulate shadows? Because if I'm not mistaken, what the shadow demon wants most should be physical existence. That is, your flesh and blood body. Then, with the increase in the number of times you use the power of the shadow demon, your flesh and blood will gradually thin and eventually be completely taken away by the shadow demon. When the time comes, it becomes a living person, and you are going to be its shadow. After hearing this, if it is said that Chen Yuan's disappearance just now gave Higashitaro the shock is 100%. Now, the shock brought by these words to Higashitaro is 10 times more than before. 100 times. This guy, how did he know these things? This is clearly the secret of their Dongjing family and that demon bishop. Generally speaking, when the ninja of the Dongjing family reaches the age of 50 or 60, it will be noticed by the acquaintances around that it seems like a different person. In addition to the same appearance, the rest of the character, demeanor and the like will change. This time, in fact, is when the deal with the shadow demon has reached its final stage. The people of the Dongjing family became shadows, and the shadow demons gained their flesh and blood. Because of the temptation of the power of the mysterious shadow, even if it is the final outcome. There are still countless members of the Dongjing family who are looking for their umbra, one after another. But how did he know that he was from Longxia? Although Higashi Taro did not answer. But he had a shocked expression on his face. For Chen Yuan, it is the best answer. Sure enough, his speculation was reasonable. It is determined by the direction that the devil most desires to request. It is often possible to infer how and what they are trading. Now that it's been figured out, then there is no need to waste time. Go and swallow it, Chen Yuan said softly. The tattoo on the wrist began to squirm. Re-transformed into the appearance of the greedy snake. Swim in the direction of Higashi Taro. Opposite. Higashi Taro recovered from the shock. Then he saw a small snake swimming towards him. The strangest thing is that the little snake has only a head and no tail. Idiot, I don't care how you know the secret of our Dongjing family. 1. Today, I won't let you go. Toy Taro snorted coldly. It is estimated that the little snake is Chen Yuan's imperial beast. After all, the wizarding profession, not only in Longxia. Rather, it enjoys a fairly big reputation around the world. Anything can be mastered, and it is not a strange thing to be able to control beasts. Higashi Taro didn't take it too seriously. Left hand raised. The shadows of the large tracts rose again. When his hand pointed to the greedy snake. It means let the shadow kill the greedy snake. Results. Weird thing. Now, it stands to reason that after the deal is settled, the ability of the shadow demon can be used by Higashi Taro at will. But at this moment, the rising shadow, but he couldn't stop shaking. Instinctively stepped back. It's like seeing some kind of fear. Bagaya Road. Dongjing cursed. didn't realize the seriousness of the matter at all. He does not know. Before the primordial demon, how strong is the fear of ordinary demons? Unfortunately, it's too late. The two heads at each end of the greedy snake's body all bite on the trembling shadow. With the shadow demon let out a sharp scream. Greed is eating. Toy Taro panicked for the first time. He can feel it. The power of the shadow demon is constantly fading. What have you done? I am going to kill you. Toy Taro went crazy. This is the Umbra that he finally found. It was he who accepted the identity of the family's secret inheritance after returning to Sakura country. As a result, it was swallowed up bit by this weird little snake that didn't know what it was. Shish. Dongjing took out 2 black daggers from his waist. These 2 daggers are silverware. It is quenched with terrifying poison, capable of poisoning an elephant in an instant. Professionals below the golden rank are almost instantly killed. A gleam of resentment flashed in his eyes. Dongjing first took the dagger. Aim for the greedy snake. Swish. The sound of the dagger breaking through the air sounded. But it fell directly into the air. Primordial demons, in a sense, is a product of a concept. There is no entity, of course, not to be attacked. Higashi Taro missed with 1 hit. Not even any stagnation. As soon as the dagger's cold light turned, it stabbed directly at Chen Yuan. As a ninja, his assassination skills are absolutely no less than his hiding and escape methods. Pity. Ninjas are a branch of the assassin profession. And what are assassins most afraid of? Is control. When the void face Medusa's gaze is activated, Higashi Taro, whose mental power is far lower than Chen Yuan's, was instantly affected by the petrification state. After being petrified, he was unable to move or speak. He could only watch helplessly as the snake of greed attached to him peel off the shadow demon bit by bit, then devour it. Despair spread in Higashi Taro's heart. He doesn't know and doesn't understand at all. Why is the other party just a bronze rank wizard? There are so many strange methods on the body. First, that inexplicably disappeared into nothingness. Later, it was the strange little snake that could devour the demon of shadow. Finally, there is the equipment that can control him and put him in a forced petrification state. Are you going to die here like this? At this moment of despair, Dongjing Delang suddenly heard Chen Yuan speak. Don't finish it yet, save some for him. The greedy snake looked at the remaining shadow demon reluctantly. Although he really wanted to devour directly and completely, because Chen Yuan's order was here, he could only put it down temporarily. Toy Taro's eyes suddenly lit up. This guy is suddenly soft-hearted. Judging from his appearance, he should still be a student, right? If you are a student, you must not have experienced much. It's normal to be soft-hearted. A trace of extremely obscure killing intent flashed in Dongjing Taro's eyes. He has decided that he must first pretend to be very moved and make a change. Then wait for the opponent Panasonic to defend and give him a fatal blow. Humph. Even this Long Sha relented and let go of his own life. But he plundered his own shadow demon. This is no different from killing him. Wait, soon, you'll pay the price for your stupid soft-hearted. What? Higashi Taro, who was secretly planning in his heart. Suddenly there was a very shrill scream. I saw that Chen Yuan directly interrupted all his limbs. In this way, there should be no way to move. Chen Yuan clapped his hands and stopped Medusa's gaze. Higashi Taro's petrified state touched, and then he fell directly to the ground. Well, that's the perfect test subject. Chen Yuan looked at his masterpiece with satisfaction. He called out a flaming sword in his hand and placed it in front of Dongjing Taro's head. Hey, from now on, you have been using the ability of the Shadow Demon, or I will kill you. Shadow Demon, if you don't want to be completely devoured right now, you have always maintained a maximum power deal with him, go ahead. 1. After Chen Yuan finished speaking, observe with interest. And as the object of observation, Higashi Taro. Under the crazy trend of survival desire, he can only obey Chen Yuan's words and use the power of Shadow Demon all the time. The remaining Shadow Demon, under the threat of the greedy snake, traded demons with Higashi Taro with the greatest degree of openness. After about half an hour, Higashi Taro, who is running the devil's trade with maximum efficiency, has become extremely weak. At the same time, his body also appeared strangely transparent. Although this level of transparency is only about 1 or 2%. But under Chen Yuan's perverted mental observation, he was discovered. In this way, Chen Yuan's theory has been confirmed. Wait until this transparency reaches 100%. It is estimated that the devil transaction is terminated. Shadow demons become flesh. When Higashi Taro became a shadow. Perfect theoretical practice. Chen Yuan smiled with satisfaction. Then waved. Now you can eat it all. The voice fell. The greedy snake that has long been impatient. Directly devour the remaining shadow demons. Although he has dealt with demons for so long, Shadow Demon has gained a lot of energy from Higashi Taro. But still, he couldn't escape the crushing on the rank and became the nourishment of the greedy demon. At the same time, greedy takes effect. Shadow Demon's ability. It was successfully transferred to the Snake of Greed. Under Chen Yuan's instruction experiment, the Serpent of Greed is capable of manipulating a large number of shadows. As if it were a shadow demon. Wait for the Snake of Greed to redo the tattoo on his wrist. Chen Yuan's eyes fell on Dongjing Taro again. Golden rank, or an assassin, just. You, what are you going to do? Zhao's even Dongjing Taro is already very weak. But after seeing Chen Yuan's eyes, he couldn't help but be afraid. Dongjing Taro has discovered that this Longxia person is a lunatic. Just now, he even used himself and the Demon of Shadow to do human experiments. The ghost knows what he is thinking now. In the eyes of Dongjing Taro. Chen Yuan at this time. Even with a smile on his face. But it is even more terrifying than the most terrifying demon. If it wasn't for his limbs being interrupted, he would rather choose to commit suicide by caesarean section. Don't worry, don't do anything. Facing Higashi Taro, who looked flustered. Showing mouth smile. Take out the broken scepter. There are 500 units of undead power in the death graveyard. Just enough to transform Higashi Taro into an undead creature. Although he is a ninja, he has some overlap with Luli's life hunter. But wouldn't Chen Yuan refuse to have one more gold-ranked undead assassin? Under the desperate eyes of Dongjing Taro, Chen Yuan directly ended his life with a flaming sword. Then, with the broken scepter, it was transformed into an undead, and it was stored in Paradise Lost. In this way, Chen Yuan has another golden rank undead assassin who is loyal to him. Don't say it. Such a collection of undead creatures that are only loyal to themselves. Really rewarding. After the matter is settled. Looking at Kai Fei's strange eyes next to her. Chen Yuan coughed softly. This Sakura Japanese wants to kill me, why am I not surprised by him? Besides, a wizard of mine hasn't done human experiments yet, so it's fine to practice with him, right? Crimson. Just as the two were about to leave here. Suddenly, two familiar figures galloped towards here. It's here. Then Higashi Taro's tracking location shows, Why did it suddenly disappear? Seeing that the location previously placed on Higashitaro by the informant suddenly disappeared from the monitor, Joemu's heart sank suddenly. Could it be that the locator was discovered by Higashi Taro? Just when he had a bad premonition in his heart. Kuching, who was beside him, suddenly let out a loud noise. There's someone over there. Joemu looked up. I saw a figure standing in the place where Higashi Taro's position was originally displayed. Why does this person's back look familiar? This is Chen Yuan. After Joemu recognized Chen Yuan, I was immediately confused. Why is Chen Yuan here? The speed under him accelerated, and soon he and Kuching came to the cave. The people I saw were Joemu and Kuching. Chen Yuan got in touch with the identity of the Sakura country just now, and then guessed some signs. You two, are you here to find someone from the Sakura country? Without waiting for Joemu to ask, Chen Yuan took the initiative to ask. Kuching was obviously taken aback. How do you know? To know. This is a special operations mission of the military. Chen Yuan, a person who just passed the big test, how could he know? Unlike Kuching, Joemu's brain is turning faster. From Chen Yuan's words and the cave that collapsed on the side, some clues were vaguely inferred. Have you met him? Male, short stature. I have seen. Chen Yuan nodded, generously admitted. Where is he now? Kuching hurriedly interjected and asked. You know, Higashi Taro is cautious by nature, like a loach. If the informant hadn't successfully placed a positioning device on his body, it would have taken him a long time to catch him. Died. Chen Yuan's answer was unusually calm. calmed down to Kuching, even thinking he heard it wrong. After being stunned for a long time, seeing that Chen Yuan's expression didn't look like a joke, he raised his brows. It's impossible. Even if you can kill the gold level boss in the big exam dungeon, it's absolutely impossible to kill that cherry dog. 1. Zhou Mu has already told me that the golden rank bosses in the big exam dungeon are almost all of the initial golden rank strength of IV. But that Higashi Taro, as a shadow ninja of the Higashi family in the Sakura country, how could he have died under your hands? Kuching's doubts are also Zhou Mu's confusion. Zhou Mu admitted that Chen Yuan is very strong, outrageously strong, and may even be the strongest champion in Long Shaw's 10 or 20 years. Note, Long Shaw's champion, no matter how strong he is only a student. His strength has an upper limit. It is possible to kill a boss at the early golden stage. But killing a cunning golden ninja. It's not that Zhou Mu doesn't want to believe it, he really can't believe it. Seeing the expressions of the two of them did not seem to believe it. Chen Yuan was too lazy to explain anything, just casually said. Maybe he sees me as only a bronze rank and doesn't take me seriously. 1. Looking at Chen Yuan's calm appearance. Although Kuching never believed it, Zhou Mu was a little uncertain. Although he didn't believe it, he wasn't sure how strong Chen Yuan's real strength was. After all, the recording video of Chen Yuan's copy of customs clearance is only kept by the exam house, and no one can see it at present. It's about to get into a stalemate. Zhou Mu's cornered light was suddenly flickered by something at Chen Yuan's feet. He was stunned for a moment, then came to squat beside Chen Yuan. After careful observation on the ground, I finally found an extremely small black spot with my fingertips. This thing is a special tracker made by the military. However, there are obvious traces of flame burning on it. Although it didn't burn down completely, it was long out of service. This is probably the reason why the tracker signal suddenly disappeared just now. Due to the special material being burned by the flame, a smooth section is formed on the surface. Then it happened to be reflected under the action of light, which was noticed by Zhou Mu. Look at the tiny trackers at your fingertips. Zhou Mu got up with a wry smile and showed it to Kuching. This should be the tracker on Higashi Taro. Kuching, whose face suddenly became a little unnatural, didn't seem to believe it. The hand that grabbed Zhou Mu carefully identified it. But no matter how he looked at it, how unwilling to believe it. In the end, it can only be admitted. This is indeed a special tracker made by the Military Equipment Research Institute. Other units or individuals simply cannot imitate it. So come on. The tracker was incinerated. What it means is obvious. The spy Higashi Taro from the Sakura country. Indeed, dead. Died in the hands of Chen Yuan. When reality is in front of you. To say it is not shocking, that is false. Whether it is Zhou Mu or Kuching. All realize again, CEB. Chen Yuan's strength, may be more than they thought. Much stronger, even if it is true as Chen Yuan said. Higashi Taro was killed only because he didn't take the bronze-ranked Chen Yuan seriously. But no matter how you take it lightly, Higashi Taro's hard power is there. It will definitely not be comparable to the low-level gold-level bosses in the big exam dungeon. Moreover, even in the end, he found out that Chen Yuan's strength was not right. Can't beat it. Can you run the head office? You know, Higashi Taro is best at running away. But what about the result? Didn't even run away. Or, even Higashi Taro had the idea of running away. Is Chen Yuan still able to complete a strong kill in this situation? If so, that Chen Yuan's real horror. When Zhou Mu and Kuching were both silent, Chen Yuan asked casually, "When I met Taro Higashi, he directly showed killing intent to me. I killed him, it should be regarded as a legitimate defense, and I don't need to take the corresponding responsibility, right?" Hearing this, Zhou Mu came back to his senses. He took a deep breath and suppressed the shock in his heart. It's okay, when we are performing our mission, we are going to be the first to catch them alive, but it's really impossible, and killing them on the spot is also allowed. Speaking of which, you have done us a favor, so why should you take responsibility? If that's the case, then I'll go back first. Listen to what Zhou Mu said. Chen Yuan naturally had no reason to stay here any longer. After saying hello to the two, they left with Kai Fei. After Chen Yuan left, Zhou Mu and Kuching looked at each other. They all saw deep helplessness in each other's eyes. Higashi Taro, who was never captured by the military, just died. Died at the hands of a high school senior who just finished the big exam. A long time. Joe Emu's mentality is better. After taking the lead in adjusting, he patted Kuching on the shoulder and smiled meaningfully. Look, what would have happened if I hadn't stopped you? Hearing this, Kuching's eyes twitched. At that time, when Zhou Mu invited Chen Yuan to join the army, he was rejected. He really wanted to find Chen Yuan's theory. At that time, Zhou Mu stopped him. Fought. Kuching has no idea, although he believes that his hard power is definitely above Higashi Taro. But if Higashi Taro is determined to run, he must be helpless. Otherwise, he would not call Zhou Mu to perform the mission together. But he already recognized Chen Yuan's strength in his heart. But Kuching still shouted with disdain. HMPH, when I go back and do a special training again, I don't believe it, it's no better than a freshman who just took the big exam. If you can train, Chen Yuan, as the champion of Longxia, can't you have the resources? I remember that when I became the #1 scholar, the resource-rich person directly raised me from the bronze rank to the silver rank. With Chen Yuan's achievements, he has definitely received more resources and rewards than me. At that time, his strength is estimated to be much more perverted. All the time talking about me, I have the ability to talk about you. You can't compare to him. I know I'm not as good as him, but I'm not as hard-mouthed as someone. Zhou Mu, if you have the ability, don't run. If I don't give you a few fists, write your name upside down. After returning home, Chen Yuan was not disturbed by anyone. It seems that it should be the words that he and Zhao Shisho said they wanted to rest today, and it worked. After a wash, Chen Yuan took a rest. Today, I got through 70 levels in one go. To be honest, although it is not difficult, it is still really tiring. Later, another spy from the Sakura Kingdom was killed, and he used Medusa's gaze, which added a little fatigue. Anyway, have a good rest today. It is estimated that tomorrow, we will face overwhelming interviews and rewards. To be honest, Chen Yuan is really looking forward to college life now. As a wizard, he was just getting started. At present, in addition to fire elemental spells, undead spells, demons. For the rest, there is still a lot of unresearched. For example, he is very interested in biological modification. Has been shelved without the opportunity to refresh achievements. You must know that in the original world, mechanical secret pattern transformation is the most basic transformation method. The rest, there are a series of more advanced methods such as magic transformation, fusion transformation, waiting for him to study. In addition, there are a series of contents such as pharmaceuticals, alchemy, and body refining waiting for him to explore. Not to mention, there are also lucrative tasks waiting for him to complete. Primary forbidden spell, Wizard Tower Core. It was all something that Chen Yuan couldn't wait to study. Anyway, Ji Yu Qingwan, this person. Chen Yuan's impression of her. Just stay in high school. Chen Yuan was a freshman and sophomore in high school. Ji Yu Qingwan happened to be the second and third year of high school. At that time, Ji Yu Qingwan was already very famous in school. After all, no boy can refuse that cold and beautiful face. As for the third year of high school, after the professional awakening is an extremely rare and powerful hidden professional element mage. Ji Yu Qingwan's popularity and fame have reached the peak, almost making the boys in the whole school go crazy. These are almost all of Chen Yuan's impressions of Ji Yu Qingwan. Oh, no. Add Yan Gui's description. It is said that after Ji Yu Qingwan arrived in the imperial capital, he became arrogant and arrogant. Such a person. Chen Yuan didn't even have to think about it. If you tease one or two at will, you should be able to do it yourself. At that time, he can take the opportunity to learn the corresponding knowledge of element fusion from her. To complete tasks and get rewards. Chen Yuan was thinking. Suddenly, I felt a sudden movement from my side. Turn your head to look. This was discovered. It turned out that Kai Fei had just jumped slightly. He came to the edge of the bed and lay down gently. She did not incarnate in a human form, but maintained the body of a red fox. Don't think too much. See Chen Yuan's gaze. Kai Fei curled up her body, pretending to be plain and saying, I came to sleep on the bed to give the sofa to Sister Luli. 1. I can sleep on the floor. Luli, who was lying on the sofa, suddenly said something. For her, it made no difference how she slept. After all, she is an undead, she has no body temperature, and she doesn't even need a quilt. Kai Fei didn't know what to do for a while. Just sleep like this. Chen Yuan lay down again. He pulled the quilt and covered Kai Fei a little. I'm going to the imperial capital soon. Longhua University will provide single-family villas at that time. One room is enough. Kai Fei pouted. Don't know what to think. Imperial capital. All sounds are silent. The Longxia examination house was brightly lit. After the whole day today, the big exam is over, it is the busiest time. Although the issued analog copy chip will calculate the candidate's corresponding score in real time after the exam is over. However, the corresponding score registration still needs to be completed by the exam house, so everyone is working overtime. In particular, top stats for each province. All asked to be evicted overnight before tonight. Fortunately, in the early morning of tomorrow, the corresponding announcement will be issued directly. Finally, when it was almost dawn, the sorted data of the provincial champions were put on the table of the Dean of the Examination Institute. The Dean of the Examination House is a kind old man with white hair and beard. He took a look at the data. North River Province's champion, Mo Tong, 16,500%. The number 1 scholar in Nanhe Province, Li Feiyu, is 14,800%. The champion of Huaiyan Province, Zhao Sheng, is 17,600%. Look all the way down. The scores of these provincial champions. In fact, they are almost the same. After all, they are already the top talent. Even the slightest difference can be considered extremely impressive. See the last one. He is the champion of Jiangsu and Zhejiang Province. The champion of Jiangsu and Zhejiang Provinces, Chen Yuan, 107,000, 100,000. Didn't even look at the numbers for the scores. The dean of the examination house thought it was because of his old eyes that he had misunderstood. But after reading it again, I realized that I did not read it wrong. It was more than 100,000 points. How can that be? The dean continued to look down tremblingly. There are specific data on the customs clearance of the champions of each province. Skip all the champions in front, all the way to Jiangsu and Zhejiang provinces. Candidate Chen Yuan. Number of clearances, 70. Average level completion rate, 100%. Dean. After a brief brain blank, the dean, who had been unable to think, directly called the director in charge of performance statistics. When the director in charge of grade statistics came to the office, the dean pointed to the transcript, and his voice trembled. You look at this data, are you sure there is no problem? 100% level completion rate. The total number of levels cleared, 70. This data, it is no longer a customs clearance in the usual sense. It's a clear punch. President, it's really fine. It was expected to be like this for a long time, director smiled. When he saw this achievement, he was even more exaggerated than the dean's performance. Don't worry, Dean, this result is absolutely true. We have confirmed it several times with Hangzhou officials. This candidate named Chen Yuan did pass all the levels with a 100% completion rate. After speaking, the director of the examination house showed full of expectation and pride. We, Longxia, are going to produce a real talent. After hearing that there is no problem with this result, but it is true. The dean felt that his heart could not take it anymore. He served as the head of the examination house for decades. I have never seen such exaggerated data. You know, the current speaker of the Longxia Joint Chamber. Longxia is currently the strongest person on the bright side. Diamond rank peak versus .59, Lin Tianzhan. When he was in high school, only with an average level completion rate of 96%, he reached the 69th level and lost in the last level. But now, this candidate named Chen Yuan has surpassed him. After taking a few deep breaths, the dean finally accepted this fact. He stood up abruptly, his face full of curiosity about Chen Yuan. Right now, he just wanted to know how this student named Chen Yuan achieved such heaven-defying results. Go and watch his clearance video with me. Archives. Here are the analog copy chips recovered from various provinces and cities in this exam. By calling the chip, you can see the battle video of the corresponding candidate in the copy. Soon, the replica analog chip corresponding to Hangzhou City, Jiangsu and Zhejiang Province was found. After inserting the chip into the computer, the dean of the examination house immediately began to look at it attentively. What is this fire spell? Why is the power so terrifying? Directly kill all the monsters in this dungeon. Why does his imperial beast seem to be strong here? It should have the strength of the peak of the silver level, right? Then what is the ghost? Why does he still have a silver level imperial beast? This kind of terrifying impact, what kind of secret technique is this? While watching Chen Yuan's battle video, from time to time, he was shocked by the strength shown by Chen Yuan. The dean of the examination house did not fast forward for even a second, for fear that he had missed something. In this way, in the middle of the night, there are two people, the dean of the examination house and the director of the score statistics. Just started watching from Chen Yuan entering the simulated copy, and saw the 60th level. Then, the two were stunned again. They saw that Chen Yuan chose the demon copy. Then, Chen Yuan made that hungry demon eat himself. What kind of weird way is this? In general, the correct solution to this problem. Didn't he kill the hungry demon with energy that exceeded his devour limit? Looking at Chen Yuan's outrageous operation, I don't know why, but it gives a reasonable and crazy feeling. Dean, do we have to make a special note for Chen Yuan? The Abyss Research Institute should be interested in his dungeon solution, right? The performance statistics director asked cautiously. The dean of the examination house also nodded earnestly. It should be specially marked. If Chen Yuan is not to blame, I feel that the Abyss Research Institute is unlikely to be able to snatch it away. This kind of seedling, whether it is Longhua or the imperial capital, is estimated to be desperately grabbing, and then use the top-level resources to provide him with growth. Abyss Research Institute, but there are not so many resources to compare with Emperor Longhua. Let's see, there are 10 levels left. The next few levels. Chen Yuan once again showed his incomparable strength. Those silver-level monsters couldn't survive in the face of Chen Yuan's terrifying flame spell. Now, the dean of the examination institute finally saw some clues. The face is covered with shock again. He is resonance level fire element affinity. This is not something that ordinary mage professions can barely achieve after turning 3 to the golden rank. Chen Yuan's rank in the big exam is bronze rank IV.17, right? How did he achieve this level of element affinity? Such a shock. It continued until Chen Yuan cleared the 70th level, reaching the climax. I saw Chen Yuan enter the 70th level. What he had to face was a gold rank IV.31 boss. And the large number of mobs that covered the map. This level, in fact, it was specially set up by the examination house. When setting it up, I didn't even consider the situation that someone would pass the customs. Therefore, it is outside a golden order boss. There are also 3 silver level elite monsters. There are nearly 50 bronze order miscellaneous monsters. Such a level, not to mention the bronze level. Even if a professional of the golden rank comes, they may not be able to pass. This is also why the big exam questions issued by the Examination Institute are called copies that can never be broken through. But now, this dungeon, which will never be broken through, has been broken through. Still came to this last level easily. So, how did Chen Yuan get through customs? With this strong curiosity, the dean and the director all focused their attention on the screen, not daring to miss a second. I see. After encountering the Golden Order boss, Chen Yuan cast a fire attribute spell. A huge flame monster appeared. He swallowed the LV.31 gold level boss in one bite. Swallow, and die. It's that simple. The two were immediately stunned. But Chen Yuan has already started to clean up the clutter. At last, it took 9 minutes in total. Just past the last level, which is said to never be broken. After reading, the two were shocked. It is impossible to express in words. A spell, just a second to a gold level boss. This must be some kind of spell. Can it have such a terrifying effect? The two are unknown. But one thing is certain. That is, Chen Yuan's results are absolutely in line with his performance. Call. The dean got up from his seat. The analog chip was repackaged and placed back in the archive. It wasn't until then that he noticed. Before you know it, the sky is getting brighter. The dean was stunned for a moment, and then he immediately shouted to the performance director. Immediately, send the result announcement. This morning, we will let the people of Quan Longxia know. We Longxia have produced a truly peerless genius. Morning. Countless people woke up from their sleep. The first thing I did was to open the official website of Longxia Examination Institute and check the results of the big test. Among them, there are the candidates' parents, the candidates themselves, and people from all walks of life. It can be said that the annual exam will attract the attention of the entire Longxia society. Soon, everyone saw the announcement on the top of the exam house's website. The list of champions in each province in this year's big test. This list has always been the most popular. Everyone wants to know exactly who were able to stand out from the hundreds of thousands of candidates in each province. Even between different provinces, there will be a secret rivalry mentality. That is to see which province this year's Longxia champion is from. For example, Beihai province, which has been the champion of Longxia twice in a row. The people there are a lot tougher than people in other provinces even when they go out to speak. Soon, this list was opened by countless people. The first thing that catches the eye is the congratulatory message at the top. Congratulations to Chen Yuan, a candidate from Hangzhou City, Jiangsu and Zhejiang Province, who achieved the highest score in this year's big test. Become the first time in the history of Longxia to clear all levels with an average completion rate of 100%, Longxia champion. Just 2 congratulatory messages. The amount of information contained in it is enormous. Especially when everyone saw Chen Yuan's score. The originally quiet morning seemed to have thrown a heavy bomb, causing an uproar. The name Chen Yuan was wildly reprinted and spread. Even those who were in trouble are given the title of the strongest dragon. At the same time, Imperial University, the entrance to the golden rank nightmare dungeon, Blood Abyss. A beautiful figure appeared. It was Ji Qingwan who had just completed the single brush. It took her a whole night to finally conquer this copy. Seeing her coming out, a large group of Imperial students waiting outside cheered for her. These people belong to the same group. Imperial University's S-level society, Secret of Spell. Most of the dungeons created after arriving at the university are high-level dungeons. It often needs to be conquered by a multi-person team, and some copies even have a mandatory number of people. As a result, what started out as small groups gathered together for the convenience of forming a team gradually evolved into societies. For example, the Secret of Spell, where Ji Qingwan works, is a society founded by students of the Magic Department of Imperial University. The vast majority of the members are magic occupations, with strong strength, and they are one of the top clubs in Imperial University. As for Ji Qingwan, he was the vice president of the society. At this time, seeing Ji Qingwan completing the dungeon attack, everyone gathered around. Congratulations to the vice president for successfully clearing the customs. Vice president is invincible. The vice president is awesome. Single play, Blood Abyss, for the mage profession. The vice president directly created a record. Woo woo woo, if only I could have 1/5 of the strength of the vice president. Ji Qingwan's popularity in Secret of Spell is very high. These people came to witness Ji Qingwan's history completely spontaneously. Only, Ji Qingwan treated them. And treats strangers. There is no difference. That face that was always frosty. I can't even see the slightest joy after customs clearance. It seems that clearing Blood Abyss is only something she must succeed in. Under the moonlight, she did not stop, but was going to attend the spell theory morning class at 8 o'clock in the morning. But this time, there was a sudden exclamation from the crowd. I'm going. This year's big exam results. 1. Longxia champion, from Jiangsu and Zhejiang provinces. As soon as the words came out, the members of the association from Jiangsu and Zhejiang provinces immediately raised their arms and shouted. The other members made a cut sound, expressing contempt for them. The excited members of Jiangsu and Zhejiang provinces hurriedly asked, "Look at which city in Jiangsu and Zhejiang province the champion comes from." "I'll take a look." "Hangxi. It's out in Hangxi." Ji Qingwan, who had already left, suddenly stopped. Her brows rose slightly. Turning around, he walked towards the boy who was checking the information. "Feel the sudden silence around you." The boy raised his head for no reason. Only then did I discover that the vice president, whom he had always secretly admired, came to him. His heartbeat accelerated instantly, and his face became even more flushed. For a time, he was in a panic. Until Ji Qingwan came to him and stretched his hand forward. Give me. Ji Qingwan's tone was cold, but with an unmistakable tone. How could the boy disagree? He hurriedly handed over the phone. But because I was too nervous and flustered, I accidentally dropped the phone. When the phone is about to fall to the ground, a meandering vine burst from the ground. He picked up the phone and handed it back to Ji Qingwan's hands. You don't even need to cast spells. You can mobilize the power of the elements at will. This is the performance of element affinity reaching resonance. Everyone in the surrounding community was amazed at Ji Qingwan's strength. You must know that she is an element mage with the power of 5 elements at the same time. This means that her 5-element affinity abilities have all reached resonance. When everyone was watching Ji Qingwan's attention was all on the phone. When she saw Chen Yuan's score, his eyes narrowed sharply. Frosty face. There was finally a sense of movement. The score is 100,000. Rao is how good Ji Qingwan's concentration is. At this time, when I saw Chen Yuan's score, I was also shocked. You must know that most of the remaining provincial champions are only about 10,000 points stronger, at most close to 20,000. But this guy called Chen Yuan. What did you do to get more than 100,000 points? Ji Qingwan held back the shock in his heart and looked at Chen Yuan's results. Average level completion rate, 100%. The total number of clearances, 70 levels. If the score is abstract, can't give people an intuitive feeling, then this result statement is specific. Let the shock in Ji Qingwan's heart be magnified infinitely. The average level completion rate is 100%. Represents all levels down. Every level is to sweep away all the monsters. What this means, as long as anyone who has brushed a copy knows. Many times, in pursuit of customs clearance, most people will only aim to kill the boss. For example, from last night to now, in order to clear Blood Abyss, the golden level nightmare level dungeon, she almost ran all the way to the boss. Otherwise, if she is targeted by the mobs in Blood Abyss and, July 20th, is besieged by a group, even she may be in danger. In this way, there is only one possibility to kill all the monsters in the dungeon. That is the strength of the opponent, which is far higher than the difficulty of the copy. For example, Blood Abyss, if you change to a gold rank peak, or simply a platinum rank powerhouse to brush, then you can definitely kill all the monsters in it. Of course, this is not the most important thing. Most importantly, he passed the 70th level. The last exam. Ji Qingwan remembered that Zhou had cleared 64 levels. Her clearance count is 60 levels. There is still a long way to go to 70 roads. She heard that in the 70th level, there is a golden rank boss sitting in the town. Although it is only the weakest golden rank, it is definitely not something that ordinary people can handle. It seems, this year's freshman, a monster did appear. Just don't know, where will this monster end up going? If they came to their imperial capital university. The evildoer with his talent. It is estimated that it will stir up the storm again. If you went to Longhua University, She had already thought about what kind of face Longhua would look like if he recruited him. In the past 2 years, Longhua has been continuously suppressed by the imperial capital. Now Longsha has such a monster. In order to save the decline of Longhua, they will definitely do everything possible to take him into their arms. But in the end, where this monster went, it still depends on the contest between the admissions offices of the two sides. Anyway, she still remembered the professor named Yan Gui from Longhua. Said to find one in the next freshman to crush himself. It made him feel so confident. Could it be his reliance is this monster? Thinking of this, Ji Qingwan's brows slightly raised. If so, that might be a bit of a hassle. But the result will definitely not be what Yan Gui said. It's not that he was crushed, but Chen Yuan was crushed. Ji Qingwan admitted that this guy named Chen Yuan was very strong. But that's just how strong he is in the freshman. If he was given time to grow, he might be able to surpass himself. But just for now, Ji Qingwan is 100% sure to defeat him. Restore that frosty look. Ji Qingwan threw the phone back to the boy. Under everyone's attention, he left without looking back. Hangzhou. Chen Yuan just woke up in the morning. Zhao Zhengguo's call came. The content of the call is simple. Just ask Chen Yuan if he is free to accept their visit. On the phone, Zhao Zhengguo poured bitterness towards Chen Yuan with a wry smile. It was said that he was pestered by the principal of Imperial University for one night yesterday. Even at that time, Chen Yuan made it clear that he would choose Longhua. But He Xiao, the president of Imperial College, has not left Hangzhou since yesterday. Always pestering Zhao Zhengguo, saying that he hopes to chat with Chen Yuan alone today, and ask Zhao Zhengguo to set up a line. Zhao Shishou, you can tell him that there is no need to come again. I have decided to join Longhua, that is, there is no room for further changes. Okay, then I'll have one last word with him. By the way, when are you free today? President Longhua and Professor Yan Gui, come to visit you together. Last night, the two of them didn't sleep, and they were so busy this morning that they were preparing the resource rewards for you before admission. Also, we in Hangzhou have also prepared a considerable amount of resources for you. Although it is not as good as Longhua's heritage, it will definitely not disappoint you. Did you send yourself a resource pack? Chen Yuan was really looking forward to it. As the most profound university in Longxia, what kind of admission resource reward will Longhua give him? I'm free all day today. Just trouble Uncle Zhao not to let reporters come here. I don't like the excitement. That's for sure. That's it. We'll be there in about an hour. 1. After an hour, a group of 3 came to Chen Yuan's house. The two brothers, Yan Fu and Yan Gui, were very excited. Chen Yuan's performance in the big exam was beyond their expectations. Even Yan Gui, who had seen Chen Yuan's strength earlier, was shocked by Chen Yuan's record. The average level completion rate is 100%. The number of clearances is 70. Such a luxurious record, throughout the history of Longxia, have never appeared. How can these two not be excited? In these years, Longhua has always been crushed by the imperial capital. But Chen Yuan came to Longhua this year, that's it. Do you know what is the difference between the champions? Although the imperial capital has recruited the Longxia champion for 2 consecutive sessions. But the famous 1 and 2 champions, taken together, they are not necessarily comparable to one Chen Yuan. So come on, to express my gratitude to Chen Yuan for choosing Longhua University. Yan Fu racked his brains last night, and finally made a direct investment and prepared a very luxurious gift for Chen Yuan. Student Chen Yuan, here is the entrance ceremony prepared for you by our Longhua University, please accept it. Yan Fu directly handed a storage ring to Chen Yuan. Among them are all kinds of treasures that he had sent from the Longhua treasury overnight last night. It can be described as a direct hemorrhage. However, this hemorrhage made Yan Fu happy. Thinking back to when I came to Chen Yuan just now, He Xiao's face was full of black lines. Yan Fu's heart blossomed even more. After Yan Fu, Zhao Zhengguo also immediately represented the Hangzhou city officials. The gift of resources also stored in the storage ring was given. Chen Yuan, your performance this year is really shocking. Here is the reward I gave you on behalf of the Hangzhou city officials, and you also accept it. Chen Yuan did not hesitate to accept the 2 storage rings that contained a lot of reward resources. Afterwards, several people discussed when Chen Yuan went to the imperial capital to report on the specific details of certain preferential treatment conditions after entering the imperial capital. Wrong, shouldn't count as a discussion. Instead, Chen Yuan made a request, and Yan Fu, as the principal of Longhua, nodded. Long before he came here, he had already established the policy of absolutely agree. No matter what kind of request Chen Yuan makes, as long as it is not outrageous, he will agree to it. In this way, this Zhuang scholar meeting, which only consisted of 4 people, went very smoothly. Finally, after the discussion was over, several people resigned. Chen Yuan only had time to look at the reward he had just received. Between the 2 storage rings, Chen Yuan first turned his attention to the one gifted by Yan Fu. This kind of storage ring is specially made by the Luban Union, and it is generally purchased after the personal warehouse is full. However, a single storage ring with a cubic space is extremely valuable, and it may take tens of millions of dollars to buy it. Chen Yuan glanced slightly. It can only be said that Longhua is worthy of being Longhua. The space for this storage ring alone is a full 10 cubic meters. The price of a storage ring of this level should be in the billions. After returning to his senses, he began to examine the things stored in it. Experience Pack. Introduction, a prop made by special skills, which can provide a lot of experience. However, due to technical limitations, only 1 point of experience can be extracted and stored for every 100 points of experience. Therefore, very few people are willing to make the experience gained as a transferable experience pack. I didn't expect there was an experience pack. 1. This kind of thing was introduced in the school curriculum. Just because of the 1% experience extraction efficiency. As a result, only the very wealthy can afford it. Chen glanced at it roughly. The experience pack in this physical storage finger should be enough to raise himself to the silver rank. 2 reals. Introduction, it can make the corresponding occupation complete the second rank. 2 reals. You can use it after you use the experience pack to raise the upper limit of 1 turn to level 20. The last turn of the scroll gave Chen Yuan the power of the undead. I don't know what kind of new system this 2-turn scroll will allow him to develop. Squeezing down his expectations, Chen Yuan continued to check the remaining rewards. Until, after he saw a prop that looked like a key. The whole person was stunned. This is unknown level, secret witch key, exclusive to wizards. Items of unknown rank, or only for wizards. Chen Yuan immediately became interested. Going to the secret witch key, he took it in his hand and observed it carefully. But no matter how you look at it, this item named secret witch key seems to be just an ordinary key. Except the pattern above is a little complicated, there seems to be nothing special about it. Since I can't see any particularity, I can only turn to the world's original scriptures. World Original Book's Secret Witch Chapter. Secret Witch Key. A special key, which contains some kind of special space power, can open the world channel and go to the secret realm of true spirit. Conquer the true spirit and increase your soul, so as to achieve the effect of sublimating the level of life. Original recommendation, it is best to wait until the strength of the platinum rank, and then explore the secret realm of the true spirit. Possess the key to special space powers. Can you open the world channel and go to the secret realm of true spirit? When seeing the word world passage, Chen Yuan already had a hunch. The so-called secret realm, certainly not the current one, can go. Sure enough, in the following original recommendation, it directly shows that without the strength of the platinum rank, it is best not to explore the secret realm of the true spirit. Platinum tier, it seems quite far from now. Even after using the experience pack, he has just been promoted to the silver rank. After this, there is the golden rank. In short, it is estimated that it will take a long time. But, what is this so-called true spirit? With a strong curiosity, Chen Yuan searched for true spirit in the original text of the world. 29 World Original Book, Wizard Chapter, Wizard Power System, Soul Chapter. True Spirit, check the spiritual power limit requirement, 500. Alright, still haven't seen it yet. But just look at these limitations. And the description of the so-called increasing the soul, sublimating the level of life. This true spirit is definitely a very powerful existence. It's okay, my growth rate is still quite fast for the time being, maybe, I don't need to wait too long, I can spy on what this true spirit is. With that said, put the secret witch key into the personal warehouse and keep it carefully, and continue to check the remaining rewards. Gold rank katakana middle. Elemental robes. Attributes. Mental strength plus 30 points. Agility plus 15 points. Characteristics. Elemental protection increases elemental spell damage by 30%, and reduces elemental damage received by 40%. Is there a piece of gold? Still a pretty good piece of gold. Not only can it increase the elemental damage of the wearer itself, also reduces elemental damage taken. The range of bonuses is not low, one is a bonus of 30%, and the other is weakened by 40%. Even in a golden utensil, it is considered to be a small masterpiece. If it is used by professional mages, it is estimated that it will be even more powerful. See elemental spells. Chen Yuan suddenly remembered Ji Yu Qingwan, seems to be the element mage. Most of her spells are estimated to be elemental. In this case, isn't this piece of equipment equal to Tian's defeat of her? Could it be that Uncle Yan deliberately put this equipment in? Chen Yuan couldn't help but feel a little funny. He still remembered that he had promised Yan Gui. I want to help him crush Jiyu Qingwan and take a breath for Longhua University. Just, not so deliberately. Chen Yuan has absolute confidence in his own strength. Even without this equipment, he is still stronger than Jiyu Qingwan. The reward in the storage ring given by the principal is almost the same. Now, the treasure chest placed in the most central position in front of him remains unopened. This obvious special placement means that the contents of the treasure chest in front of him are the most precious of all rewards. Of course, this is to put aside the secret witch key. Chen Yuan has already seen it. The world knows too little about wizards. Therefore, even the secret witch key is definitely an extremely precious item. The problem is that other people don't know its function and value. It is estimated that even the principal only saw the word wizard exclusive before adding it to the reward. This is like the Medusa's gaze that Zhou Yuelin gave him back then. Since it was impossible to judge its value, Chen Yuan finally let it go. After returning to his senses, Chen Yuan slowly walked to the treasure chest and opened it. Accompanied by bursts of holy power fluctuations. A necklace with a soft shimmer is lying quietly in the treasure chest. Just by looking at it, one can realize that it is definitely the best equipment that is priceless. As predicted, Platinum Stage Katakana Middle. Holy Blessing. Attributes. Spirit plus 40. Characteristic Katakana Middle. Divine Blessing, immune to mental interference skills. Skill. Judgment of Holy Light, unleash a powerful platinum level light attribute attack. Charging time. 96 hours. This turned out to be a piece of platinum level equipment. Although it appears to be a light attribute equipment, it doesn't seem to be a good match for the wizard himself. But its characteristics and skills are really powerful. The first is the characteristic called Divine Blessing, which can make people immune to mental interference skills. And the dark blue ring that was obtained at the beginning only reduced the interference by 30%. In contrast, the power of the platinum level equipment was vividly reflected. In addition, there is the active skill called Holy Light Judgment. Although the charging time is 96 hours, that is 4 days. But in contrast, its power has also reached the platinum level. This means, in addition to the undead dragon's summon obtained by completing the task previously, this Holy Light Judgment will become his second trump card. Have to say, Longhua University's move this time was quite generous. You know, this is just an admission ceremony for Chen Yuan to choose Longhua University. It can be seen that Longhua University, as the top university in Longxia, has a profound background. After watching the entrance ceremony of Longhua University, Chen Yuan took a brief look at the official rewards of Hangzhou City. In this comparison, it definitely feels a lot worse. Except for one piece of gold, most of the rest are silver, which is not very helpful to the current Chen Yuan. Just today, gluttony can devour the upper limit refreshed. Chen Yuan took out the silverware on the spot and fed it to the greedy snake. Gluttony. Return mental strength plus 2 points. Return strength plus 2. Returns agility plus 1 point. When feeding the fourth piece of silverware, gluttony once again reached the upper limit of swallowing. It seems that the remaining few can only be saved for tomorrow. Speaking of, Chen Yuan found out that if it went on like this, your need for equipment will become enormous. Now, 3 pieces a day is almost the upper limit. But if you wait until the greedy snake grows, the upper limit of the attributes that can be swallowed every day will increase. At that time, his demand for equipment will be a bottomless pit. How to brush the equipment? Have it. Chen Yuan's eyes lit up. The only resource refresh point that I currently have. It's the abyss crack in Hangzhou's quiet forest. Through the abyss crystallization, I have mastered its right to open and use it. Today, although the boss Death Knight inside has been beheaded by himself. But that crack is the abyss crack of the golden rank, which will continuously refresh the monsters of the silver rank. And silver level monsters may explode with silver level equipment. In this way, as long as you keep spawning monsters in the abyss crack, you can continuously get silver level equipment. Of course, this explosion rate is relatively small. But the problem is, this does not require Chen Yuan to brush it himself. In his Paradise Lost, there is also a golden rank undead assassin who has just been transformed. The undead do not get tired, and as long as they are not completely destroyed, they will never die. Chen Yuan can give one of the storage rings to the undead assassin, and let it go to the abyss crack to spawn monsters. This way, once the silverware bursts out, let it collect in the storage ring. At that time, every time you pass a cycle, for example, a week, or a month, return to the abyssal fissure to collect the silverware once. By the way, the undead assassin is replenished with the power of the undead. In this way, doesn't it mean that you can directly hang up and brush the equipment? Excited for my genius idea, Chen Yuan did what he said, left the house directly, and headed towards the abyss crack. Soon, Chen Yuan came to the location of the abyss crack in the silent forest. Now this abyss crack has become Chen Yuan's private property. Except for him, the others cannot open it, let alone enter it. Through the abyss crystallization, Chen Yuan directly entered the abyss crack. What caught my eye was still the large tide of undead monsters. Since the last time Chen brushed, these monsters have been reborn again. Summoned the golden rank undead assassin directly from Paradise Lost and gave it an order. Here I work hard to farm monsters, pick up equipment when you see it falling, and put it into this storage ring. 1. Before coming again, Chen Yuan had already emptied the smaller storage ring of the Hangzhou city official. All the resources were moved to the larger storage ring of Longhua University. So now this storage ring is empty and can hold a lot of equipment. Undead assassins have no self-consciousness and cannot speak. But it knows how to carry out its master's commands and tasks. After taking the storage ring from Chen Yuan, he rushed directly into the wave of undead monsters and began to spawn monsters. With its golden rank strength, the monsters here can't do any harm to it at all, it's a one-sided slaughter. Only, using the undead to brush the undead, it seems more or less strange. Chen Yuan didn't care about it. As long as you can brush monsters and explode equipment. Leave the abyss rift. Chen Yuan has one more thing to do. This must also be done before admission. In order to fight against Ji Yu Qingwan later. Can better learn multi-element balance knowledge in actual combat. It is necessary for him to raise the rest of the elements except the fire element to a higher level. You don't have to reach the level of resonance, but at least you have to reach the second level of closeness. In order to improve the intimacy of the remaining 4 elements in an equal order. The best way is to take the corresponding elemental potion. For example, the previous fire element secret medicine, Flame Blessing. It can directly increase Chen Yuan's fire attribute closeness to the level of resonance. It's just that the materials needed to make these elemental secret medicines are too scarce. If only by his own strength, it must be quite difficult to collect. Therefore, Chen Yuan intends to settle for the next best thing. See if there are any next level elemental potions recorded in the original book of the world. And many more. Just when the original world is about to be opened, Chen Yuan suddenly realized, own thoughts, there seems to be some problem. If only relying on his own strength. If you want to collect the 4 elemental secret medicines, it is definitely enough. This is indeed true. The problem is, today is not the same as it used to be. Now, his identity is not only the original senior high school student. It's the champion of Longxia. He is the only champion in the history of Longxia who has passed the exam copy. Do you have to find the resources you need for such an identity? Chen Yuan chuckled lightly and shook his head. A little funny at my previous stupidity. Looks like I'm still not used to how to be a wizard. Speaking of which, in fact, the system had already given a prompt before entering the demon dungeon at that time. They can't take yours, but you can take it. As a representative of acquisition, the devil is often a symbol of greed and greed. But what does it mean for a qualified wizard to snatch things from the demons who symbolize endless requests? It means that in the characteristics of the wizard, there is plunder. Plundering resources, plundering knowledge, plundering truth, plundering everything that can become stronger by yourself. Just like what I just did. Let the undead assassin work for yourself in the abyss copy. Isn't this because he wants to hang up to brush equipment, so he plunders the labor force of the undead assassin? After thinking about this, Chen Yuan suddenly became enlightened. This kind of plunder, before the strength has grown up, can be transformed into a more gentle way. For example, now, through his identity, the strongest champion in Longxia's history. Propose your own, reasonable, conditions to Longhua University. Ask them to help themselves find the materials corresponding to the 4 elemental secret medicines. Isn't that what a wizard should do? Strength is better than hard work. Chen Yuan murmured softly. There was light in his eyes. The original book of the world. Search for the corresponding formula of the corresponding elemental secret medicine. World Original Book Katakana middle dot Pharmaceutical Chapter Katakana middle dot Element Affinity Potion. Water Element. Secret Medicine Katakana middle dot Flowing Water Blessing. Recipe: 30 grams of water lily leaf powder, 50 milliliters of spiritual spring water, and a core of water spirit. Gold Elements. Secret Medicine Katakana middle dot Gold Spirit Blessing. Wood Elements. Secret Medicine Raw Wood Blessing. Formula: Earth Elements. Secret Medicine Katakana middle dot Blessing of the Earth. Formula: after recording up to 20 rare materials corresponding to the elemental elixir. After Chen Yuan sorted them out, he sent them to Yan Fu. It is also accompanied by the information. Principal, please help me pay attention to the following materials, if any, can you help me collect them? People from Imperial College contacted me and said that if I am willing to change to join Imperial College, they will guarantee to help me collect them before enrolling, but I was rejected. I think the heritage of Longhua University is no less than that of Imperial University, so it shouldn't be a big problem to collect these materials, right? Appropriate lies are often more favorable to the outcome of things. After a while, Yan Fu's reply came. Okay, I took a look at the list here, there is a large part of it, we have it in the treasure house of Longhua University, as the top resource treatment promised to you at that time, it can be given to you directly. But there are still some materials, which are not available for the time being, and it may take a while, but I promise that they will be collected for you before enrollment. Don't believe the words of those guys at Imperial University, what they are best at is to coax you into them first, and then solve the problem slowly. Looking at the message from Yan Fu, Chen Yuan showed a satisfied smile and continued typing. I know, since I have agreed to join Longhua University, I will naturally not change my will. If possible, can you ask the principal to send me the materials that I already have? I need to refine some medicines, and some of them are needed for my advanced steps. Yan Fu, of course, no problem, you will be able to get it before tonight. Chen Yuan, thank you, principal. The negotiation is over. The matter of the elemental elixir is officially resolved. There should be a few more days from today until enrollment. In the past few days, all I have to do is to wait for the refining of the materials, and then raise my element affinity level to resonance. In this way, when the time comes, he can even use magic to defeat magic, and fight with Ji Yu Qingwan's most proud elemental spell. Thus, deepen your understanding of the knowledge of element fusion, complete the task in one fell swoop, and obtain the primary forbidden spell in the core of the wizard tower. Then the rest of the time is completely free to use. It just so happens that it's in the wild, catch a few different monsters and go back to bio-transformation, and you'll be done with a brush. Soon, Chen Yuan caught a total of 4 monsters. Wind Wolf, Human-Faced Cat, Wind Rabbit, Three-Eyed Monkey. After knocking out all these monsters, the Wind Wolf and the Three-Eyed Monkey carry one on each shoulder. The Wind Rabbit and the Human-Faced Cat are holding one in each hand. Both personal warehouses and storage rings can store living things, which is really troublesome. Fortunately, Kai Fei's contract was changed from a blood contract to a soul contract, otherwise, there would be too many restrictions. Looks like it's time to go to the Lubin Union to see if they sell space items for beastmasters that can store life forms. With that in mind, Chen Yuan entered the city all the way. On the way, many people cast surprising glances at him. After all, if the average person is okay, who would carry a few monsters on their bodies? But before taking a few steps, this strange look suddenly changed, and it all became a matter of course. The reason for the change is that someone recognized Chen Yuan, the Longxia champion in the headlines this morning. That's Chen Yuan, this year's Longxia champion, the one who crushed the other provincial champions by nearly 10 times the score. No wonder I looked at him so familiar just now, and I recognized it when you said that. I have to hurry up and take a photo. Don't, you are stupid. Today, the city didn't issue a notice saying, don't disturb others, otherwise it will be dealt with as disturbing the public order. 1. I just said why someone caught a few monsters into the city, it turns out that he is the legendary champion. I heard that his profession is a wizard, and he must be studying some kind of profession-related knowledge. It's no wonder that you can achieve such an exaggerated result after working so hard after the big exam. Quote. This has something to do with hard work. People are obviously talented and hardworking. Directly double kill us. Everyone watched Chen Yuan leave with admiration. That's how people tend to be, as long as you're famous and your status is high. No matter how weird you are doing, you don't need to explain yourself, they can always find all kinds of weird reasons for you. Chen Yuan didn't care about, because he was looking at the more advanced biological modification knowledge in his mind, watching it with great interest. World Original, Special Skills, Biological Transformation. Magic Transformation. Introduce. This is an advanced way of bioengineering. By mechanical means, but only by magic. The magic circuit is constructed in the body of the creature, so that it has special abilities. Using a weapon analogy, it is similar to enchanting a weapon, which is a popular method of biological modification. Original simulation can be used. This magical transformation. Chen Yuan had already heard about it. It was even introduced in textbooks. The person who first studied magic transformation was a magic builder named Solas, in the West. This magic power builder is one of the 3 branches of the craftsman profession, and uses various magic power circuits to add special effects to items. Once, this genius magic builder had a whim. Thinking that since magic circuits can be constructed on weapons and equipment, can they also be constructed in living organisms? Holding this kind of good Jiaolao's odd, he went to the wild to capture several of the most common monsters, slimes. Then, through continuous trial, experiment, and research. Finally, a year later, after killing about thousands of slimes, he finally succeeded in constructing the elemental magic circuit in the slime's body. Just like that, a slime that originally had no attributes. Because that elemental magic circuit is of the thunder attribute, it became a thunder slime. Not only does he become electrified, he can also use basic lightning attribute skills such as lightning strike and discharge. Later, that Thoras created new monsters such as fire slime, water slime, and so on. Since then, magical transformation has been included in several basic methods of biological transformation. Compared with the mechanical secret pattern transformation, this magic transformation requires less tools and materials. But since the magic circuit is needed to connect with the nerves, therefore, the lethality rate of this modified organism will also be higher. However, there are original simulations, and it is estimated that you will be able to master it soon. Then, there is another advantage. That is to allow Chen Yuan to initially try element fusion. For example, the wind rabbit is a judge of the wind attribute. If you build a fire attribute magic circuit in its body, what will be the result? Chen Yuan is looking forward to it. After returning home, Chen Yuan directly started his own experimental program. First, want to magically transform creatures. At least he had to learn how to transform magic power. This time Chen Yuan did not use the original simulation directly. Instead, I intend to do some basic learning first. In this way, after having a certain foundation, by using the classic simulation again, you can increase the speed of mastery, thereby reducing the number of classic simulations. There are many books on magic transformation on the market. But the most authoritative and classic is naturally the classic book, The General Theory of Magic Transformation, by Solas, the creator of magic transformation. For this book, you can find it in the online library in Hangzhou. Chen Yuan logged on to the website and immediately began to read the electronic version. The construction of the magic circuit is also divided into different attributes, among which, the difficulty of constructing different attributes is different. Among them, the most easily constructed and successful ones are naturally the elements of water and wood, which are closely related to life. They represent vitality, and they are the 2 elements that novice magic builders are most willing to try. Fire element and gold element, only those who have mastered certain skills can succeed. While constructing a circuit, knowledge of the principles of spells is also required. 1. Only if you know how to cast fireball can you reproduce it on your subjects, otherwise everything will be in vain. 1. A novice magic builder may fail many times, but you have to believe that it is nothing. There are so many monsters in the wild, you can use them for experiments. Like me, as many as thousands of slimes died on the test bed, but I finally succeeded. Read the whole article. Chen Yuan not only learned the basic magic circuit building skills from Solas, but also got a big bowl of chicken soup. It's almost time to do a canon simulation for the first try. There are now 4 monsters in total, enough to try 4 times. Within 4 canonical simulations, should be able to master magic transformation. Soon, the first classic simulation was completed. After almost mastering the basic techniques of magic transformation, use low-level psychic tonic to replenish psychic power. He grabbed the human-faced cat on the ground. This guy is the first type of monster that Chen Yuan encountered in the wild after his awakening. Now take it as the object of the first experiment, echoing the beginning and the end, which is quite memorable. For the first time, Chen Yuan intends to start with the simplest water attribute magic circuit. According to Sola's theory, the magic circuit of water and wood properties is the easiest to construct. However, Chen Yuan's current level of resonance with the water element is only at the lowest level of feeling, which may increase the difficulty a bit. But it would be much easier than building a magic circuit directly with the violent fire element. Compared with the mechanical transformation of the secret pattern, the magic transformation does not require the use of external auxiliary machinery or devices. It is only necessary to carve out the corresponding energy channel, that is, the magic power circuit, in the body of the organism through the architect's control of the energy. However, it is quite difficult for beginners like Chen Yuan. A minute passed. Construction continues. All seem to be heading in the right direction. Until the second minute, a cat with a human face in a coma. Suddenly, his feet slammed, and his neck crooked. You killed the IV.4 human face cat. The prompt lights up. Because the level difference between the two is too large, no experience is gained. But Chen Yuan knew that his first experiment had failed. Many problems that were not noticed at first may expand into fatal problems once you start to practice, and you need to continue to learn. Imperial Capital, Longhua University. As a top university with a very rich background, the treasure house of Longhua University has accumulated rare resources from generation to generation. It can be said that in the whole Longxia, if anyone has more resources than Longhua University, well, or Longxia Treasury. Even Imperial Capital University was a little bit mean. At this time, in the treasure house of Longhua, Yan Fu was in a hurry. The leaves of the water lotus, there are. The core of the water spirit, is here. Woodling flower petals. Quote. With Yan Fu's figure, he shuttled between different storage shelves. He took out all the cherished spiritual things from it and put it into the storage ring. Yan Fu and Yan Gui are 2 brothers. There is wealth in the name. Naturally, he is very good at business. Don't look at the reputation of Longhua University in recent years, which is getting worse and worse than that of Imperial University. But under Yan Fu's management, the resources that Longhua is sitting on are not only not less, but also keep increasing. Therefore, although these spirits are rare, in Yan Fu's eyes, they are not as valuable as the value Chen Yuan brought to Longhua University. Even if these spirits are twice as many, 5 times, or even 10 times. As long as Chen Yuan is willing to come to their Longhua, then Yan Fu will not feel heartache. After a while, Yan Fu finally stopped searching. There are almost 7 or 8 of the spiritual items that Chen Yuan wants. The rest of the treasury is temporarily unavailable, and we have to find a way to get it. Put the storage ring away. Yan Fu left the Longhua treasure house. Come to the transmission center of Longhua University. After sending the storage ring to the Hangzhou municipal office, Yan Fu made a call to Zhao Zhangguo. After explaining the situation, let him hand over the storage ring to Chen Yuan. After doing this, Yan Fu left the school and went to the Wenkai Institute. As one of the top financial groups in Longxia, Wenkai Yuan has the largest number of auction houses with the highest grade. Even, someone described it like this: with enough money, you can buy anything you want here. As the president of Longhua University, Yan Fu is naturally the most distinguished customer of Wenkai Yuan. As soon as his forefoot arrived, the director of Wenkai Yuan in the imperial capital came out to greet him. Principal Yan, distinguished guest, distinguished guest. The director was a rich middle-aged fat man, and he happily bowed his hands to Yan Fu. Yan Fu waved his hand and handed over a list directly. Get me the things above within 5 days, can I do it? The director took the list and glanced slightly. After discovering that the above are some precious elemental spirits, after pondering for a while, he agreed. Don't worry, Principal Yan, within 5 days, all will be served. Okay, the money goes directly to the school's financial settlement. After leaving the Wenkai Institute, Yan Fu finally breathed a sigh of relief. However, he was actually a little curious. What does Chen Yuan use for so many spirits of different elements? He had heard from Yan Gui that Chen Yuan had at least 2 fire element spells above the golden rank. And being able to use the golden rank fire element spell at the bronze rank shows that Chen Yuan's affinity for the fire element is absolutely high. It's even possible to achieve resonance. But now, the spiritual things Chen Yuan asked him for, water attribute, earth attribute, wood attribute, metal attribute, but there is no fire attribute. Why is that? Could it be Chen Yuan was also able to pass through these spirits to improve his affinity for the elements, etc., and many more? An unbelievable thought suddenly flashed in Yan Fu's mind. Chen Yuan's resonance affinity of fire elements of the same order, shouldn't that be how it came? If this is the case, then Yan Fu can only say that Chen Yuan's talent is really beyond what normal people can imagine. You know, Chen Yuan's profession is only a wizard, not a mage, let alone an element mage like Ji Yu Qingwan of Imperial University. How could he achieve resonance with all 5 elements? Impossible, impossible, must have thought too much. It is estimated that Chen Yuan wants these attribute spirits just to meet some special requirements for wizard advancement. It should be, so, Sijeb, right. You can't wait until the time to enroll. Chen Yuan really gave him a 5-element resonance, so the wizard is comparable to the play of the element wizard, right? Yan Fu shook his head, throwing this absurd thought out of his mind. Hongzhou, in the room, you killed the IV.6 Wind Wolf. As the prompt lights up a 3rd time, Chen Yuan's magical transformation failed again. Call. Chen Yuan took a deep breath. The corpse of the hurricane wolf was burned with flames and thrown into the trash can. This magical transformation is much more difficult than he originally imagined, even if the original simulation has been used 3 times. But there are still some details not grasped. After taking the remaining number of psychotropic supplements that can be used within 24 hours, mental strength also only replied a little. The study plan of magic transformation can only be put on hold temporarily. The only remaining wind rabbit also successfully left a small life. After Chen Yuan got up, call out the greedy snake as usual. Take out a few pieces of silverware from the storage ring and feed them one by one. Gluttony. Mental power return +1 point. Strength return +3 points. Agility returns +1 point. To be frank, it's really cool to be able to have 5 points of attribute improvement every day. Over time, Chen Yuan felt that he could even become a Superman. As for the heartache of using so much silver to feed the greedy snake, Chen Yuan had no such thoughts at all. In his opinion, any external force is far less powerful than its own. Even, he has an extremely bold idea. That is if one day, wait until he has enough knowledge. He even wanted to parse Broken Void Mask and Broken Scepter. Transplant the skills and characteristics they contain into your own body. For example, the nothingness feature of the Mask of Nothingness. Of course, this is just a good wish. As for whether it can be achieved, how long will it take to make it happen? Then it is unknown. After putting away the greedy snake, Chen Yuan's eyes fell back on the wind rabbit who was hopping around in the house. Yesterday's 3 experiments of magical transformation failed. Today, it will be a success. Adieu. 4th classic simulation. Start. 10 minutes later, Chen Yuan withdraws from the fictional world of the original simulation. The missing and wrong points of the previous experiments have been fully understood. Now, he is 90% sure that he will complete a successful magic transformation. I grabbed the wind rabbit that was bouncing around and knocked it unconscious. Chen Yuan directly started the construction of the magic circuit. This time, it is still the simplest water element. Wait until the simplest water element and wood element circuits are successfully constructed. Chen Yuan will challenge the more difficult fire element and gold element. Time passed little by little. Chen Yuan concentrated on building fine lines of circuits in Feng Rabbit's body. Slowly, the circuits that could not circulate were connected together. The water element that was guided was injected into these circuits and began to flow. It's done. In order to verify that his masterpiece was indeed a success, Chen Yuan directly shook the comatose wind rabbit to wake up. After the wind rabbit woke up, he struggled violently. Chen Yuan threw it directly to the ground. After Chen Yuan pretended to make an offensive move, a light blue magic circuit suddenly lit up on Feng Rabbit's body. The next second, water jets, following the whirlwind that emanated from the body of the wind rabbit at the same time. It ended up being a kind of splash fan. Blow it up and still. I don't know what went wrong. But it worked. Looking at the wind rabbit in front of him who was thinking about life, Chen Yuan decided to add a fried rabbit meat for lunch to celebrate. On the table, seeing that Kai Fei and Lu Li each sandwiched a piece of fragrant fried rabbit meat, Chen Yuan was a little worried about whether his cooking skills had deteriorated. Since last week, Chen Yuan has not cooked by himself. The first is the awakening ceremony. This was followed by a 7-day training session. And then, that's the next big exam. In short, during this time, Chen Yuan was really a bit of a spinner, which led to the frequent ordering of takeaways. Now, the big exam is over, he has successfully become the champion of Longxia, and he is waiting for admission. Naturally, it also relaxed. To know, before the awakening ceremony, Chen Yuan lives alone. Naturally, they cook their own meals. How is it? Is it delicious? Chen Yuan asked expectantly. Delicious. Kai Fei praised sincerely. As for the lily. Sorry, master, I have no sense of taste. Chen Yuan almost forgot that Luli is the undead. I can eat food, but I have no sense of taste. At this moment, Chen Yuan's cell phone suddenly rang a message prompt. Zhao Zhangguo, the things you asked Principal Yan to collect have arrived. It is said that the water element spirits and the earth element spirits are all ready. The remaining gold and wood elements will be delivered within 5 days. When do you have time to take it? Read the information. Chen Yuan couldn't help sighing. Longhua deserves to be the university with the top resources of Longxia. In just 1 day, the materials needed for the 2 elemental secret medicines were gathered. Exactly, it takes time to make secret medicine and take secret medicine. If the 5 elements are together, it will be too rushed. Now, it is possible to take advantage of the gap when the remaining 2 elemental materials have not been collected. First, raise the affinity level of water element and earth element to resonance. After lunch, Chen Yuan took the initiative to visit the city hall. After taking back the storage ring that contains a lot of elemental spirits, there is no immediate impatient start making elemental elixir. This is because, on average, it takes about 3 simulations of the original to learn how to make the elemental secret medicine. And every time the original simulation will exhaust all the mental energy. The original low-level mental strength supplement, not to mention that the inventory has bottomed out. Even if there are still stocks, the 10 points of spiritual power recovered by each supplement can no longer keep up with the demand. You know, even if Chen Yuan is not wearing equipment, his mental power has already broken through the 90-point mark. After completing an original simulation, you need to consume 9 pieces to complete it. Therefore, the production of intermediate mental strength supplements is the first demand at present. Original books of the world katakana middle. Pharmaceuticals katakana middle. Supplements. Topics related to psychiatric potions. Intermediate mental strength tonic. The advanced version of the mental strength tonic can restore 50 points of mental strength at one time. Recipe: 5 meditation flowers, 1 Ghost King crystal nucleus, 30 milliliters of luminous grass juice. Restriction: bronze rank professionals can take up to 10 sticks every 24 hours. Can only say, it is indeed a mid-level spiritual tonic. The effect of one is equal to 5 times that of the low-level mental power supplement, which can replenish 50 mental power. It's just the formula materials needed to make the intermediate mental strength tonic. Meditation flowers and luminescence grass are easy to say. Why do you still need the crystal core of the Ghost King? Chen Yuan's eyes fell on the blue ring in his hand. As if he had sensed something, the blue ring actually trembled slightly. Chen Yuan looked away. He hasn't gotten to that crazy level yet. After all, the Ghost King is also a tool person that he uses easily. How could it be slaughtered just to make a bottle of mid-level psychic tonic? Impossible. But Chen Yuan did not intend to produce these materials by himself. Last time Longhua University and Hangzhou City officials gave him 10 million Longxia coins each. With a total of 20 million Longxia coins, can't buy elemental spirits, can't buy these materials. Prepare a little and go out to buy supplies. Hangzhou Alley Auction House. Although this auction house is not affiliated with the Wenkai Academy, it is still small and large. Here, Chen Yuan found the core of the Ghost King that can be purchased. There are 10 pieces in total, and the price of each piece is 100,000 Longxia coins, for a total of 1 million Longxia coins. When Chen Yuan was about to pay by card, the checkout staff recognized his identity and was so excited that he called the boss directly. After a while, the owner of the auction house rushed over excitedly. Another photo with Chen Yuan, and another request for an autograph from Chen Yuan. In the end, he held Chen Yuan's hand with enthusiasm and said cheerfully, "Zhuangyuan Chen, my daughter likes you. She said that she will follow your example and try to get into a good university. 1. If I take your autograph and photo together, I'll definitely kill her. In this way, it's not appropriate for me to give you the things you bought directly. After all, I'm a businessman, I'll give you a 0.1% discount, just take 10,000 yuan. He Xiaolu, pay for Chen Zhuangyuan." After coming out of the auction house, Chen Yuan went to the medicine house again. Here, he needs to buy meditation flowers and luminescence. Then, the exact same thing happened at the auction house. The clerk of the medicine house also recognized Chen Yuan's status as the champion. Besides, she still remembers. Before the big exam, Chen Yuan came here to buy things. It seemed that she bought a set of pharmaceutical equipment at the time, and she even asked Chen Yuan if she was interested in joining the Alchemist Association. At that time, when I saw little brother, you felt very unusual. I didn't expect you to become the champion of Longsha. It's really amazing. The clerk's eyes are full of admiration and little stars. Even in the case of shyness, she still blushed and ran to Chen Yuan's side to ask for a group photo. After leaving the medicine house, materials are almost ready. A meditation flower costs 2,000 Longxia coins, and a luminous grass costs 1,000 Longxia coins. In order to make 10 bottles of mid-level spiritual tonic, a total of 50 meditation flowers of 100,000 yuan and 200 luminous plants of 200,000 yuan were purchased. Back home, Chen Yuan directly started the production of mid-level spiritual tonic. After consuming the only low-level mental power inventory and completing 2 original simulations, Chen Yuan has mastered the production method of the intermediate mental power tonic. Next is production time. About an afternoon passed. Finally, 10 bottles of intermediate mental strength supplements were produced. Chen Yuan took a general look. Market prices for mid-level psychotropic supplements. It is about 300,000, which is 20 times higher than that of low-level mental strength supplements. If it is made by yourself, the cost is only about 120,000 yuan, which is only 1/3 of the market price. Chen Yuan knew that in the next period of time, he would definitely consume a lot of mid-level mental strength supplements. So before leaving the alley auction, let the boss pay attention. If the Ghost King crystal core has replenishment, leave it directly to him and collect it in large quantities. Prepare the intermediate mental strength supplement. Next, it is natural to start making the corresponding elemental secret medicine. First of all, Chen Yuan made the secret medicine katakana middle flowing water blessing that can enhance the affinity of the water attribute. The materials it needs are 30 grams of water flow lotus leaf powder, 50 milliliters of spiritual spring water, and a piece of water spirit core. These things are already prepared in the storage ring. As long as Chen Yuan mastered the method of configuring the secret medicine. With the blessing of the Eye of True Sight, a 100% production success rate can be achieved. Therefore, classic simulation, start. Time passed little by little. When the classic simulation ends, after Chen Yuan withdrew from the virtual world, turning his head, he threw himself into the configuration of secret medicine blessing of flowing water. The configuration of the secret medicine is very particular about the technique. However, if there is a slight error, the production of the secret medicine will fail. Chen Yuan's energy is almost completely concentrated. carefully controlling the mixing ratio, time, stirring speed of various materials. Until the secret medicine katakana middle dot blessing of flowing water is finished. It's already dark. Kai Fei and Lu Li were even asleep. They knew that Chen Yuan was doing something important. Therefore, it did not cause any disturbance to Chen Yuan from beginning to end. Looking at the secret medicine flowing water blessing that was slightly rippling with water ripples in his hand, Chen Yuan raised his head and drank it. It was the same as when I took the secret medicine, flame blessing. A pure and huge water element spiritual power began to surge in Chen Yuan's body. But just like what Solas said in the general theory of magical transformation, the water element is an element of life, and often does not cause too serious pain to people. Compared with the burning feeling that life is worse than death when taking blessing of fire. Although it is also very painful to digest blessing of flowing water, it is much easier relatively speaking. With the continuous digestion of Chen Yuan's blessing of sea water, his affinity for the water element is also slowly increasing. From the most common closeness to fusion to the last, resonance. When Kai Fei woke up in the morning, she has the blood of a red fox. Very sensitively perceived. The home is filled with energy fluctuations of the water element. Just when she wondered what was going on, she noticed Chen Yuan in the living room. I saw a curtain of water surging in front of Chen Yuan. The water curtain was like an obedient spirit, constantly transforming into different appearances as Chen Yuan's mind changed. Sometimes it turns into a dragon, sometimes it turns into a beast. Seeing this scene, Kai Fei was stunned. As a fire elemental resonator, she could easily see that Chen Yuan's affinity for the element of water also reached resonance. Contacting the potion that Chen Yuan had been studying for so long in the room yesterday, she suddenly realized it. Chen Yuan was making it yesterday. It must be a water attribute secret medicine similar to the last flame blessing. Is this guy omnipotent? Not only will the fire-type secret medicine flame blessing be made, but also the water-type secret medicine. Don't tell me, he also makes wood, earth, and metal secret medicines. If it's true, that's maddening. Kai Fei looked at Chen Yuan and murmured softly. Saying that, she turned her head to look at Lu Li, who was beside her with a calm face. What do you think? Facing Kai Fei's question, Lucy just shook her head. There was peace on the beautiful face. I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if the master does anything. Why? Why are you willing to call him master? Kai Fei finally couldn't help but ask this question. In the Red Fox clan, the title of master can only be called to special people. She really didn't understand. Lu Li was clearly by Chen Yuan's side a lot later than her. Why would she be willing to shout like that? However, Lu Li's answer seemed like there was no answer, which made Kai Fei feel helpless for a while. There is no reason, the master is the master. After that secret medicine katakana middle dot blessing of flowing water is completely digested. Chen Yuan's affinity for the water element is of equal order, and it has also reached resonance. Oh, that feeling of being able to summon elemental power for oneself with every gesture is really wonderful. But the effect of resonance is far more than that. When the affinity for an element reaches resonance, going to learn the spells of the corresponding elements is simply more effective. Even when releasing skills, the consumption of mental power will be much smaller. Slowly, Chen Yuan also understood why Jiyu Qingwan, who had awakened to become an element mage, was favored by so many people. Born with an affinity for the elements, ability to learn more expensive spells, consumption is quite low. Such a profession is not strong. What other professions are strong? After raising the water element affinity level to resonance, Chen Yuan started the development of secret medicine katakana middle dot blessing of the earth. The process is exactly the same as when making secret elixir, blessing of flowing water. They all first pass the original simulation to master the production method, and then start and take it. On the third day, Chen Yuan completed the upgrade of the earth element affinity. When he was trying to manipulate the earth element and become familiar with his new power, Kai Fei was completely stunned. She was just guessing. Was she really guessed? Chen Yuan can really make other elemental elixir. What a crazy world, crazy people. The shock in Kai Fei's heart was unable to calm down for a long time. After raising the affinity of water element and earth element to resonance, The production of gold element and wood element secret medicine was temporarily put on hold because the materials were not ready. But Chen Yuan didn't let himself idle. The magic transformation that was successful in the last experiment has not continued. After successfully transforming the wind rabbit, the advanced requirements for the achievement biological public enemy crazy transformer have been completed 2/5. As long as the transformation of 3 more species is completed, the achievement can be upgraded from the black iron rank to the silver rank. As such, there should also be rewards. Unfortunately, in the next few days, Chen Yuan went to the wild to catch several kinds of monsters. But several consecutive magic transformations have failed. There was only one success in constructing the earth element magic circuit in the body of the 3-eyed monkey, which added 1 point to the progress of the achievement. Finally, on the 4th day, Chen Yuan received the storage ring sent by Yanfu from the imperial capital again. This means that the elemental spirits of wood and metal properties are ready. Chen Yuan couldn't wait to go to the city hall to get the things back, and then shelved the magic transformation plan again and invested in the production of the secret medicine. The production process is exactly the same as before. The first elemental secret medicine that was made was secret medicine raw wood blessing. The wood element, like the water element, is the element of life. Therefore, when taking secret medicine raw wood blessing, Chen Yuan did not experience too much pain, so he raised the affinity of the earth element to resonance. But the last secret medicine was different. After crafting the secret elixir, blessing of the golden spirit, and taking it, a large amount of Zhengjin Qi erupted, raging in Chen Yuan's body. It was as if countless knives were slicing through Chen Yuan's body. The pain it brings is even worse than the pain suffered when taking blessing of fire. But last time, there was a cocoon of fire condensed by Kaifei to help Dongyuan relieve the pain. This time, we can only rely on Chen Yuan's own will to persevere in the past. An unremarkable, sunny afternoon. Suddenly, the elements of the whole city are converging in one direction. The Chenghong, composed of 5 basic elements, almost runs through the entire sky. Some people vaguely remember that this scene seems to have been seen there. Memories gradually become clear, more and more people remember this scene. They saw it at last year's awakening ceremony. At that time, Ji Yu Qingwan, the well-deserved arrogant girl, when she awakened the rare hidden class elemental mage, the vision caused, it was exactly the same vision as today. At this moment, everyone fell into a deep shock. Could it be that another elemental mage has appeared in Hangzhou? Soon, more and more people noticed this bizarre sight, and they all showed shocking expressions. Many passers-by and pedestrians even stopped directly, looking at it dumbfounded. Many people even took out their mobile phones for video recording, wanting to record this magical scene. But slowly, people came back to their senses and began to realize that something was wrong. Now is not the time for a unified awakening. How could there be a new elemental mage? But the question is, if there is no elemental mage, how to explain this phenomenon? For a while, everyone could not tell the truth, and in the end, many people simply followed the element Chenghong all the way. I want to go to the end of the Chenghong and see who is attracting these elements to gather together. Hangzhou Municipal Government Hall. Zhao Zhangguo is busy. After the college entrance examination, as the head of Hangzhou, he has too many things to deal with. Suddenly, Zhao Zhangguo's secretary pushed open the door and walked in, his face full of eagerness. Mayor, look at this. After speaking, the secretary pushed the mobile phone in front of Zhao Zhangguo. What is playing on the mobile phone is the vision that has caused a lot of changes now. Zhao Zhangguo was devastated because of his busy official business. He raised his brows, and was about to criticize the secretary. It's work time, and there's something that can't be waited. But before he could say anything, he was immediately attracted by the vision shown on the video. I saw a large number of basic elements: fire element, water element, earth element. These elements are gathered together, and although there is a gap between them, it looks like a splendid rainbow that is moving in a certain direction. Zhao Zhangguo was immediately stunned. He still clearly remembers, July 20th. He had seen this vision once. That was when Ji Yu Qingwan awakened to become an elemental mage last year. At that time, Ji Yu Qingwan had just awakened as an element mage, and the elemental affinity far beyond ordinary people led to the occurrence of this vision. Now, this vision has reappeared, and many more. As if thinking of something, Zhao Zhangguo's breathing suddenly became rapid. City Chief, seeing that Zhao Zhangguo was unusual, the secretary gave a soft shout. Zhao Zhangguo didn't pay any attention, but immediately opened the map and carefully compared the direction Cheng Hong was heading towards in the video. When his fingers swiped in the direction of Cheng Hong on the map and finally landed on one of the areas, Zhao Zhangguo's fingertips trembled. Really, his guess should be right. The person who made such a big noise is none other than Chen Yuan. At that time, when he learned from Yan Fu that Chen Yuan had a large demand for various elemental spirits, Zhao Zhangguo was curious. Even mages generally only specialize in elements of one attribute, at most two attributes. Only an elemental wizard like Ji Yu Qingwan can perfectly control the 5 different basic elements. Chen Yuan's professional characteristics are here. Is it possible that there is a way to use the 5 basic elements like an element mage? Unexpectedly, my knowledge is short. Chen Yuan is someone who has created miracles in the big exam. No matter what happens to him, shouldn't it be normal? Zhao Zhangguo immediately put down his official duties and set off directly to the location of Chen Yuan's house. Roof. Look at the large number of elements constantly pouring in from the sky. Chen Yuan couldn't help being a little surprised. Just now, he just wanted to try 5 elements at the same time, resonance. To see what kind of miraculous reaction there would be, it was not expected to cause a vision of this magnitude. As Chen Yuan slowly dissipated the resonance affinity emanating from his body, the element Cheng Hong that came from that day also suddenly dissipated at this moment. As the champion of Longsha, he has already felt the trouble of being too famous. Whether it is in the auction house or in the elixir house, there are always people who want to come and take photos with you, sign autographs. Although Chen Yuan didn't resist this kind of behavior, he didn't even like it. Therefore, in order to avoid the escalation of this, again, he chose to temporarily stop this research. After the university, there are not so many annoying things, and I will study again, anyway. The result after Chen Yuan stopped resonance. It was that the element Cheng Hong that had gathered disappeared suddenly. Originally still following element Cheng Hong, the people who planned to see where the sacred caused such a vision, just froze in place. How did it disappear? What about the element Cheng Hong just now? Is it just some kind of special elemental fluctuation? No, those elements were clearly gathering purposefully just now. Countless people talked about it, but they couldn't get any useful results. In the end, after waiting for a long time, the elemental vision did not recover, and then everyone dispersed reluctantly. However, the video that was originally filmed was still posted on the internet, and quickly attracted a lot of attention. At the same time, Zhao Zhangguo's car has been parked downstairs of Chen Yuan. He rushed upstairs excitedly, and happened to meet Chen Yuan coming down from the roof of his house. Seeing Zhao Zhangguo, Chen Yuan was stunned for a moment, but soon understood the reason. Apart from the elemental vision that he had just brought in, what else could make Zhao Zhangguo come to him directly? Wait until the two go downstairs. Zhao Zhangguo's idea has been confirmed by Chen Yuan himself. At that moment, even if he had guessed in advance, Zhao Zhangguo still couldn't hold back the shock in his heart. Chen Yuan, you wizard, why do you feel different from other wizards? Zhao Zhangguo finally expressed the emotion he had always felt. From the very beginning, Chen Yuan, the sorcerer. It seems that there is no restriction of those wizards. No matter what you do, it's like hanging up. Who the hell said wizards can't do what? When Chen Yuan was at the bronze rank, he had the strength to kill a golden rank boss. On his body, he possesses a variety of powerful and terrifying spells. It can even be said that it has reached the peak of the power of the golden rank. Now, there is one more, the multi-element resonance that only element mages can achieve. What does this look like? Not to mention other factors, at least on the spell side. Chen Yuan's current performance, can't it be called a monster? One could even say so. If you don't see it with your own eyes. Zhao Zhangguo didn't believe in any case that someone could be a monster like this. You know, how long has it been since Yan Fu handed over those elemental spirits to Chen Yuan? It hasn't even been a week. It has already reached resonance on the affinity of the 5 elements. To be able to produce a genius like you in my office, I, the city head of Hangzhou, really didn't do it in vain. I'm looking forward to the day when you go to Longhua, and suddenly there is news, you will become the #1 person in Longhua. I guess at that time, I won't be surprised anymore. After all, you, this guy, feels a bit outrageous, as if anything can happen to you. Before leaving, Zhao Zhengguo said to Chen Yuan with a smile. He really felt that after Chen Yuan went to Longhua, has a large number of top-level resources, and can go to the precious dungeon to experience. It is only a matter of time before it shines brightly, shocks the imperial capital, shocks the entire Longsha, and even shocks the entire world. Imperial capital, Imperial University. Ji Yu Qingwan just walked out of the school conference room. At the meeting just now, the main discussion was about the mutual training of the freshmen. 6 days have passed since the big exam, and in a few days, the mutual training of new students will begin soon. At the meeting, Ji Yu Qingwan was designated as the mutual training instructor for this year's freshman mutual training at Imperial Capital University, responsible for going to Longhua University to sharpen the freshmen who joined Longhua. Thinking of the heavy atmosphere in the meeting just now, Ji Yu Qingwan felt a little funny. The strongest Longxia champion. Even if he is the strongest, he is still just a freshman. What he killed was only the weakest IV.31 gold level boss. That kind of garbage, under my hands, can't even last for 10 seconds. 1. And he took 9 minutes to clear the customs. Thinking of the reminder from the principal He Xiao at the meeting, Ji Yu Qingwan couldn't help but snorted in his nose. The principal must have looked down on the new champion too much. Back then, when she and Zhou Mu faced the previous mutual training instructor. Although there is still strength to fight back, but in general, it can only be so-called, honed. Now, the so-called strongest Longsha champion will also be ruthlessly crushed by her. Only, Ji Yu Qingwan is not sure yet. Longhua, the old man with the Li's nose said. Is it him who is going to crush her? In the case of, after Ji Yu Qingwan was promoted to the golden rank, I don't think he'll lose to anyone of the same level. Not to mention, it is a freshman who has just entered the school, at most silver level. Even if he is the so-called strongest Dragon Sha champion. If not, that's even simpler, even the provincial champion. In her, they are no different from ants. Just when she was about to go back to the second villa where she was to study the advanced version of element theory knowledge, the tutor Li Wan suddenly sent her a message. Li Wan, Qinghuan, have you seen this video? Attached, there is a video. Ji Yu Qingwan opened the video and looked at it. In the video, people on the street shook their heads. They are all staring at something in the sky. In the blink of an eye, everything is shot. Only seen above the sky. Plenty of elements are surging. It emits a shimmer of corresponding properties. Even in the middle, there is a staring multicolored rainbow, which is swept away in a certain direction. After watching the video, Ji Yu Qingwan frowned slightly. Teacher, where did you see this video? Li Wan, I just saw it on the internet. It is said to be an elemental vision that appeared in Hangzhou. If I remember correctly, when you awakened to become an elemental mage, you also triggered a similar vision. What do you think is the cause of this? Ji Yu Qingwan. From the video point of view, if you want to induce this kind of vision, except when you are just awakened, you can only achieve the level of affinity of the 5 elements to reach resonance and at the same time radiate the attraction to the elements. Such an effect. For example, I can do it now. It's just, as far as I know, among the freshmen in Hangzhou, there is no one who has awakened as an elemental master. All I feel, this video has the possibility of being fake. I also don't think it's possible. Except for the elemental mage, there is no profession that can be compatible with the 5 elements at the same time, let alone reaching the level of resonance. Okay, then I won't disturb you for now, you are ready for the next freshman mutual training. I heard that Principal He suffered a lot in Hangzhou. This year's Longxia champion didn't save any face for our imperial capital, and went straight to Longhua. At that time, you will have to help me with more emphasis on taking care of this genius. Ji Yu Qingwan. Clear. Put away your phone. The scene just now flashed across Ji Yu Qingwan's mind again. Elemental fluctuations of that level can only be achieved by resonance. Before being promoted to the elemental dominator, She only achieved resonance in the 2 elements of water and wood, and the other 3 elements were only at the level of closeness. It wasn't until she broke through to the golden rank last week and changed her career to become the elemental dominator that she raised the closeness rank of the remaining 3 elements to resonance. Even the elemental mage himself is like this. How could anyone else do it? Shaking his head, he was even more determined that the video had no real possibility. As an elemental mage, she has her own arrogance. 5 elements resonate, no one but her. At the same time as the meeting at Imperial College to discuss the mutual training of freshmen. Longhua University is also discussing the matter. It's just, which is dull compared to the previous one. Today's people are all smiling. No way, who made the so-called strongest Longsha champion in history to choose them Longhua? So, even if this year's freshmen train each other and lose some face, so what? Wait till the next one. Wait until the strongest Longsha champion grows up. Let him be Longhua's mutual training instructor. Isn't the title of the great demon king within his grasp? Several school leaders who participated in this meeting were beaming with joy. He even groaned before the veteran professor who was worried about the decline of Longhua. At this time, the smile on his face was so strong that the wrinkles were relaxed. If you want me to see, this great demon king will just give them the imperial capital. We'll catch the next one. At that time, let Chen Yuan slap them in the face. Swollen them. Make them look good every day. As the first-class hero who recruited Chen Yuan, Yan Gui was also allowed to participate in this meeting by Yan Fu. His words were quite in line with everyone's wishes. Let the people of the imperial capital be domineering every day, as if not letting Longsha be the only one in the imperial capital. Gee, even the strongest champion in history. They all chose Longhua. What else does the emperor have to say? While everyone was laughing and cheering, suddenly someone said something like this. Wait a moment, if our champion defeats the mutual training instructor of the imperial capital, then, will the great demon king this time also fall into the hands of our Longhua? This statement came out. The whole place was suddenly silent. Chapter 71. In a silent conference room, everyone's attention was focused on the person who proposed the New Edge viewpoint. Her name is Mona, the head of the Department of Magic of Longhua University. Those pointed, slender ears, a beautiful face, and that iconic blue-eyed blonde. That's right, this young female director named Mona is actually an elf. Since the game came to reality, the professional era has come. As time goes by, plenty of races that are friendly with humans slowly merged in. The elves are one of them. Longsha, who has always been friendly to the outside world and has the demeanor of a great country, is naturally the forerunner in this racial fusion. Mona, as the descendant of the most mysterious and powerful branch of the elves, the mysterious elves. When she was just 23 years old, she entered the platinum stage. Last year, she had mastered many mysterious spells and was invited to join Longhua University as a professor of the Department of Magic. At this time, seeing that everyone's eyes were on her, Mona gently lifted the blonde hair scattered on her forehead and said softly. The rule of the Demon King Challenge is that, while remaining undefeated, the more people who complete the challenge, the winner of the title of Great Demon King. If the Longsha champion Chen Yuan we just recruited has the ability to defeat the mutual training instructors of Imperial College, it means that the number of challengers is 0. In this way, the title of Great Demon King belongs to our Longhua University, isn't it? Mona's words. It aroused the contemplation of the audience. The rules of the Demon King Challenge and the mutual training of freshmen are correct. But the problem is, even Chen Yuan is the strongest champion in history. But if you want him to defeat the mutual training instructor, will it be too reluctant? After a brief thought, Yan Fu gave his opinion. As far as I know, since Zhou Mu of Imperial University is receiving special training in the military, this year's mutual training instructor candidate should be Jiyu Qingwan, the elemental mage who broke through the golden rank before. Although Chen Yuan is strong, compared with Jiyu Qingwan, he is 29 years old. After all, he lacks a year of top-level resource cultivation and copy experience. If you want him to challenge Jiyu Qingwan and win, isn't it too difficult? Not only him, together with the veteran professor. I also don't agree with Mona's point of view. Mona, people's willingness to come to our Longhua shows that they trust us. It's just a one-time honor, and there's no need for him to force it. We Longhua haven't won the title of Great Demon King for several years anyway, not less than a year. Don't let the little guy get hurt, but it's not worth the loss. I see a lot of people disagree with their views. Mona recovered herself. Finding your own point of view really lacks a lot of consideration. As a mysterious elf, she is also an expert in using elements, so she naturally knows how powerful an element mage who has reached rank 3 is. It is still a bit too demanding for a newcomer who has just entered school to fight against her. Thinking of this, Mona smiled lightly and apologized. Sorry everyone, I didn't think about it carefully. It's okay, then let's agree on who will be our Longhua mutual training instructor this year. Yan Fu smiled and waved his hand, bringing the topic back to the right track. Soon, under the deliberations of everyone, the tradition was still upheld. The strongest person in the previous session will serve as this year's mutual training instructor. The selected student, named Wang Zheng, was the champion of the previous Mongolian province, the peak of the silver rank IV.29, and a rare professional paladin. Although he has not yet been promoted to the golden rank, his strength is definitely not comparable to Jiyu Qingwan who has been promoted. But it was more than enough to temper the freshmen in the imperial capital and dampen their spirits. In this way, the meeting is over, and the next thing to do is to do all the work to welcome the new students 3 days later. After the meeting, Mona went back to her office. As the head of the department, she rarely has classes on weekdays. I only occasionally find time to teach senior spell students a few principles of advanced spells. 0. For example, today, there are no classes all day. After sitting back in position, Mona's slender fingertips. Suddenly, he tapped lightly toward the air in front of him. With waves of spiritual power rippling, a small golden circle exuding a mysterious atmosphere appeared out of thin air. Mona stretched out her hand and took out a book from the small circle. The small magic circle disappeared in an instant, as if it had never existed. The book looked extremely old, and the years had left obvious marks on the cover. On the lavender cover is an extremely mysterious eye symbol. In that eye, it seems that there is endless truth and knowledge in the world. It seems that as long as you take a look at it, you will indulge your soul and cannot escape. The book is called the Book of Mysteries. It is the book of inheritance of the mysterious elves. Only the priests of the mysterious elves can have it. And Mona's father is now the priest of the mysterious elves. From a young age, Mona has shown an extraordinary talent. Therefore, her father connected through esoteric magic, allowing Mona to access the Book of Mysteries he kept at any time. Where did you see yesterday? Well, it's here. After finding the place I saw yesterday, Mona leaned back lightly on the chair and began to calm down and read. The journey of exploring the mysteries and truths of the world is often quite far away, and behind the endless silence is the noise of eternal life. 1. If I can find the true spirit to merge with it, my soul will be sublimated, and I will essentially look down on everything and think about it. Why the Book of Mysteries was written in a form similar to a diary or an autobiography. Mona asked her priestly father many times this question, but never got a clear answer. Because even the father, who claims to be the most knowledgeable in the entire ethnic group, could not tell the origin of this book. Of course, her father had some sort of guess. That is the book of inheritance of this mysterious elf, which is the diary of a certain existence. It was only by some kind of chance that they were acquired by their ancestors. By reading the contents of this diary, their ancestors have been sublimated. Separated from the common ethnic group, he has become a mysterious and powerful mysterious elf, and has mastered a certain ability that is different from ordinary spells. Finally, her father also said, if this conjecture is true, then the existence who wrote the Book of Mysteries, definitely a very powerful being. It is even possible, beyond the demigods, and even the gods. And their ancestor, most likely, was just the servant of that existence. In this regard, Mona maintained a skeptical attitude. Not to mention the existence strength of the person who wrote the Book of Mysteries. That is to say, the current world, whether they are elves, humans, orcs. The strongest person can only reach demigods, and has never been a god. How to go beyond? Whenever this time, Mona's father would only smile mysteriously, but never refute. Memories so far. Mona continued reading after a while. Feel a little tired. This book of mysteries is too deep and complicated to write. Every half an hour or an hour, she would feel an emptiness in her spirit or soul. Lightly tap the space in front of Zongzong again. The golden small circle appeared again. Mona put the book of mysteries back. Next, it's time to rest. Mona relaxing. A very popular video suddenly appeared on the internet. The title is, Sudden Elemental Fluctuations in Hangzhou, Extremely Rare Elemental Masters Reappear. This kind of gimmick video, in normal times, Mona is not interested at all. It's just that we just talked about the elemental mage from Imperial University at the meeting today. So in the end, Mona chose to click into the video to watch it for a while. But looking at it, in the video, the element Chenghong formed by the intersection of the 5 basic elements appeared. A look of shock appeared on Mona's face. This is a phenomenon that occurs only after the 5 basic elements have reached the level of resonance. If this video wasn't someone's intentional cut and spoof, it means that there are really people in Hangzhou who have reached the level of resonance for the 5 basic elements. But the question is, are there such people in this class of freshmen? Mona is the head of the spell department. They are all concerned about the freshmen who have awakened to the professions on the magic side. But as far as she knows, this batch of freshmen in Hangzhou is on the list. Except for a wood spirit mage, there is no one who has a special affinity for the elements. So is this the case? She glanced at the message below the video. Some are questioning the authenticity of the video. Only a small number of eyewitnesses in Hangzhou came forward and said that they were guaranteed to be real. It's just that the element Chenghong suddenly disappeared in the follow-up, so there was no follow-up shooting. As a result, more people tend to have some elemental fluctuations in the environment of Hangzhou, which led to this phenomenon. In this regard, Mona is noncommittal. If she is present, even the element Chenghong will dissipate. She can also follow the direction and trend of the flow of elements, and find the person who causes the vision. But the problem is that she is not at the scene, and can only rely on the video taken by others to see, unable to make a judgment. Is it possible? The person who caused this vision. Will it be the Longsha champion? Mona was taken aback by her own thought. She didn't know why she had such a guess in her mind. Although the strength of the champion is very strong, even the strongest in history. But as far as she knew, the profession of the champion was a wizard. The profession of wizard has never only appeared in the human race. Elves, orcs, dwarves, all have not appeared. But even she is very clear about the description of the profession of wizard by the human race. Although I don't know why the champion was able to break through the shackles of wizards and possess such a powerful strength. But it should be impossible for him to achieve the resonance of the 5 elements, right? Mona hesitantly turned off the video and put the matter behind her for the time being. Compared with this unrealistic conjecture, she is more willing to believe that this video was edited to attract attention. After taking and digesting the 5 elemental secret medicines, and raising the affinity level to resonance, Chen Yuan currently has 3 goals. First, continue the study and practice of magic transformation, and strive to advance the achievement of biological enemy crazy transformer to level before entering school. Second, learn the corresponding spells of the other 4 elements, and strive to be able to master the single attack and group attack skills at the same time as the fire element. Third, begin to study your own body. At the very least, his physical strength must reach the peak strength of a warrior or a knight class. There is so much to study about the potential of the human body. Modification, transplantation, potential stimulation, or even genes. These means can be used to enhance the physical strength of the human body. It's just that I haven't thought about which direction I want to go. This kind of thing can't be rushed. After all, it's your own body, it's better to be careful. The best way is to carry out a sufficient number of human experiments first, and then act on yourself when you are safe. Of course, Chen Yuan is not a psychopath, nor is he a criminal. It is impossible to directly arrest people for human experiments. Only encountered a situation like the spy of the Cherry Blossom country last time. He will only consider the possibility of conducting human experiments. By the way, it's been a week since the Abyss Fisher hung up. I don't know how it is now. It just happened that the silverware on hand has been fed, and I need to collect some back. These days, Chen Yuan feeds the greedy snake with silverware. While his attributes continued to improve, he also found that the snake of greed became stronger. After all, 10% of the equipment attributes were returned to it, and the remaining 90% was digested by the greedy snake itself. Now it is much bigger than before, almost from a small snake to a big snake. However, its panel still shows that it is in the larval stage and has not changed at all. Soon, Chen Yuan came to the entrance of the abyss crack. Pass through the abyss core, enter the abyss crack, and issue an order to the undead assassin. Less than 5 minutes, the figure of the undead assassin appeared in front of Chen Yuan. It fell to its knees and offered the storage ring with both hands. Chen Yuan took over to check. This continued for a week of uninterrupted spawning. About 10 pieces of silverware were exposed. On average, pieces of silverware can be produced in a day. Although it wasn't enough for the greedy snake to eat, at least it was better than nothing. After collecting all the silverware in the storage ring, return it to the undead assassin. Continue to work hard, good work. Chen Yuan patted the undead assassin's bone shoulder earnestly, turned and left the abyss crack. After Chen Yuan left, the undead assassin rushed into the undead monsters like a hard-working bull and horse, and started a new round of work. Back home, Chen Yuan first took out a few pieces of silverware collected from the abyss copy and fed them to the greedy snake. Gluttony. Return strength plus 3 points. Return agility plus 2 points. The points returned today are both strength and agility. It is quite in line with Chen Yuan's goal of starting to strengthen his body. However, things will come one by one. First brush the achievements of biological modification. Then I learned the spells of the other 4 elements. After that, it is not too late to study how to strengthen the body. That's it. In the remaining 3 days of enrollment, Chen Yuan goes to the wild to catch some monsters every morning. After I got it back, I started to keep experimenting. After each day's test subjects are used up, start learning spells of different elements. With the world's original scriptures, Chen Yuan can find the most powerful spells at the current stage to learn. It's just that these spells are the same as Inferno and Flame Bite and they are more difficult to learn. Even Chen Yuan's talent is excellent, coupled with the assistance of the original simulation. But on average, it takes several times to learn. In particular, Chen Yuan's current mental strength has risen. From the first time I used the original simulation, it only consumed a dozen points of mental power. Up to now, it takes more than 90 points of mental power to be able to perform a simulation. It is equivalent to the cost of each use has increased several times. After all, the world original book does not extract mental power according to specific values, but consumes it all at once. Finally, coupled with the limit on the number of stocks of intermediate mental strength supplements, you need to save a little. To recover the spiritual power naturally, Chen Yuan tried not to use intermediate level spiritual power supplements. As a result, the learning progress is naturally not as fast as before. At present, I have no source of high-level spells, and can only rely on the original world. After I enter Longhua, I can browse all kinds of spell books in the school library, and I need to reduce my reliance on the simulation of the original books. Only those places that are particularly difficult to master, and where there will be mistakes by relying on one's own study, should use the original simulation to check for the omissions and fill in the gaps. Otherwise, in the long run, I will become more and more dependent on the original simulation, and lose the ability to learn independently. This is Chen Yuan's reflection on his current strategy in spell learning, and he intends to implement this policy in the future. In his opinion, the knowledge pursued by a good wizard should definitely not be completely dependent on foreign objects, but should be researched by himself. Even its own system, as the name suggests, should be more supportive, not dominant. 3 days passed quickly. In these 3 days, Chen Yuan has completely mastered the basic method of magic transformation. From the very beginning, only one magic power circuit could be constructed in the body, but now 3 circuits have been constructed. Although the 3 magic circuits can still only support the release of some low-level spells such as Fireball and Water Flow. But compared to the beginning, it is already a considerable improvement. Correspondingly, in return, after modifying several creatures, the achievement of Biological Public Enemy Crazy Transformer has also moved from the Black Iron rank to the Bronze rank. The corresponding reward is a book called Original Code of Bloodline Transformation. This was the first time Chen Yuan had received such a simple reward as a book from the system. However, after seeing the big characters Bloodline Transformation, Chen Yuan's love for this reward skyrocketed. Bloodline modification, a biological modification method that is now kept secret by all walks of life. Don't say it's not introduced in the textbook. It is not even known whether there are books corresponding to this technology in the library of Longhua University. Because, compared to mechanical secret pattern transformation and magic transformation, bloodline transformation is almost the only means of creating new species in the current biological transformation. When the bloodlines of two completely different species merge, what kind of existence will be born in the end, whether it is a new species or a monster, is unknown. In addition, bloodline transformation can also take effect on people, and the name of transformation will be replaced with bloodline enhancement. Take a very simple example. There are considerable differences between different species, both in physical quality and in talent. For example, orcs and giants have unique advantages in terms of physical fitness. If it is a fight between professional warriors of the golden rank, one person will be a human being. Without considering external factors such as equipment and skills, rely solely on physical fitness. Then the victorious side will undoubtedly be the stronger orc warriors. Or, elves are natural wizards or assassins. Under the same occupation, they are inherently more advantageous. And the bloodline transformation. It is completely possible to integrate the advantages of one species into another species through blood. The result is an entirely new species with both advantages. The lowest level bloodline transformation method is very simple. That is intermarriage between different species. For example, humans and elves, humans and orcs. In this way, the descendants born are equivalent to possessing the talents of both parties. But the problem is, if already born, adult human, also want to gain advantages over other species, what needs to be done then? This is the original appeal of bloodline transformation. Therefore, after obtaining the original code of bloodline transformation, Chen Yuan was so excited that he didn't fall asleep all night. Especially looking at Kai Fei sleeping beside him. My mind was thinking about when to see if I could try to extract a bit of the blood of the nine-tailed red fox. That is an existence that has reached the level of the element true spirit. If it can fuse its blood into its own body, it is estimated that the affinity of the fire element can be improved to a higher level. Of course, now Chen Yuan has not started to study. It is not clear how difficult the bloodline modification is. So even if you really want to try, it is estimated that you will have to wait for a while. Except for this magical transformation and the unexpectedly obtained bloodline transformation. The biggest increase in Chen Yuan's combat power is the spells of different elements. After all, in the early days, the most obvious improvement in the wizard's combat power was spells. It is no exaggeration to say that the current Chen Yuan possesses the advanced gold-level spells that can be thrown directly. Fire element, there are Inferno, Flame Bite. Water element, there are Thousand Flow Blade, Drowning. Gold element, there are Condensation Suppression, 100 Layers of Locks. As for the spells of Earth element and Wood element, there is still no time to learn. In Thousands of Flowing Blades is a water-type large area destructive skill. It can condense the water element in the air into a large number of sharp water blades, which are launched at a very high speed. The specific principle is to control the water element to rotate on the surface of the water blade at a very high speed, so that it has a strong cutting ability. Drowning, as the name suggests, is to form an invisible and fine water film with the element of water, shrouding the enemy's body, so as to isolate the air and drown him. Even if the control of the water element is more detailed and meticulous, then it can not only isolate the air, but also isolate the enemy's perception of the element. The effect of condensation suppression and thousands of flowing blades are similar, both of which condense the surrounding elements into entities and then launch an attack. The only difference is that condensation suppression is a single type attack, and the characteristics of the gold element itself are much sharper than the water element. In gold dollars, it often becomes an unstoppable killer. The last 100-fold lock is a restrictive skill. It is also the control of gold elements, with its solidified hardness elemental characteristics. The shackles congealed around the enemy's body, restricting their movements. Even if it can't be completely controlled, it can rely on the gravity of the gold element to make its movement slow. In battle, the slowness of action can be quite lethal. The above are all the spells Chen Yuan has mastered now. Each of them is a skill of the golden rank, and it is extremely powerful. Coupled with Chen Yuan's abnormally high mental power and the affinity of the resonance level, it is even more powerful and strengthened several times. In 3 days, the harvest was full. Likewise, the time for admission has come. Now more than 10 days have passed since the big exam. The scores, rankings, and admission schools of all students have also been settled. In Hangzhou No. 2 Middle School, where Chen Yuan is located, a total of 3 students were admitted to top universities this year. The first in the ranking is naturally Chen Yuan, who is the champion of Longxia, who was admitted to the school, Longhua University. The second place is Lin Lele, who ranked 9th in Jiangsu and Zhejiang provinces in the big exam, and was admitted to the school, Longhua University. The third place is a little bit special. But again, it was also someone Chen Yuan knew. That is the class flower of Class 1, Zhou Yueling. However, her exam results were not outstanding. Ranked more than 130 in the province. It stands to reason that it is far from reaching the admission line of top universities. However, due to the particularity of her holy priest profession, the 2 universities of Imperial Capital and Longhua had to admit her by exception. Finally, after some thought, Zhou Yueling rejected the more favorable Imperial Capital University and chose Longhua University. So come on. In Hangzhou No. 2 Middle School, 3 people were admitted to Longhua University. There is also Feng Yu, who has awakened to become a shadow assassin, although he did not reach the top 2. But his 42nd place in the province also allowed him to be admitted to the top 10 universities after the top 2. In this way, this session can be regarded as the best result since the establishment of Hangzhou No. 2 Middle School. As usual, on the day of admission, each university will send a teacher from the school admissions office. Go to teleportation points in various provinces and cities to bring students back to school in person. Longhua University is no exception. Only, in the past, teachers from the admissions office came to pick them up. But this time, the principal Yan Fu came to Hangzhou in person. For this reason, it is naturally Chen Yuan, the champion of Longxia. Hangzhou Teleportation Point Hall. Yan Fu, the principal, and Yan Gui, the person in charge of the admissions office, had been waiting here in advance. This is Longxia's champion. It's still the strongest champion in history. Then they must be reluctant to let him wait. You can only wait here in advance. Slowly, teachers from other schools also came here. Look at people's gods, full of admiration. However, they can only be envious. Even that Longxia champion chose to go to their school. Do they dare to promise? Do they have such a luxurious lineup of mentors as Longhua? Do you have top training resources? Nothing. So they are not jealous or jealous at all. Some are just deeply envious. Of course, only one school is exempt. That is, Imperial College. Because Hangzhou also has a top student who ranks 4th in the province this year, signed up for Imperial College. Therefore, the teachers of Imperial University were naturally present. Only, at this time last year, the admissions teacher of Imperial Capital University can be described as high-spirited, talking freely among the crowd. Just because Ji Yu Qingwan, the provincial champion, chose them and rejected Longhua. Available this year. Time passes. Everything is reversed. Brothers Yan Fu and Yan Gui stood happily in the middle, accepting blessings and congratulations from major schools across the country. Instead, he stood to the side with a gloomy head. Lonely and no one cares. Finally, after waiting for a while, the students came one after another. They found the admissions teachers of their respective schools. Among them, Lin Lele and Lin Yan. He was the first student from Longhua University. A sister and a sister. The sister is generous and beautiful. The younger sister is so cute. They were also admitted to Longhua University, a proper winner in life. Many boys cast envious and admiring glances at the pair of sisters. Some boys even have some unrealistic fantasies in their hearts, thinking that if they can win the hearts of both sisters at the same time. Over time, the second person who came was Zhou Yueling. This cool class flower from Class 1 once Zhao Lahao may be affected by the occupation, has softened a lot. After saying hello to a few people, he silently stood behind them. Perhaps, because she was specially recruited to enter Longhua University, she always had a trace of inferiority complex. The empathetic Lin Yan seemed to have thought of something after seeing Zhou Yueling's actions. After giving Lin Lele a look, he quietly came to Zhou Yueling's side. Hello, senpai. Zhou Yueling knew that she was Lin Lili's older sister and also her senior, so she politely said hello. P came in. Lin Yan tilted her head slightly and asked with a smile in her eyes. Zhou Yueling lowered her eyebrows and nodded lightly. Well, I'm a special recruit. Hee, then I will be your immediate senior sister. Lin Yan said with a smile. Sister from the direct line. Zhou Yueling's expression was confused. It seems that I don't quite understand this statement. Lin Yan explained with a chuckle. Because I'm also a special recruit like you, so it's not a direct line. Hearing this, Zhou Yueling's body trembled slightly. Looking at Lin Yan's smiling face, a warm current flowed through her heart. Right at this time, Lin Lele suddenly shouted excitedly. Chen Yuan is here. Hearing this, Lin Yan turned to look. But out of the corner of his eye, he noticed Zhou Yueling, who just relaxed a little because of her own enlightenment. At this time, he suddenly became very nervous. How is this going? With this suspicion, Lin Yan paid special attention to Zhou Yueling. Of course, in order not to be discovered, it must be observed with a peripheral vision. For Lin Yan, who is a spiritual teacher, this is simply a piece of cake. As a result of this series of observations, Zhou Yueling's small movements were directly seen clearly by Lin Yan. From the moment Chen Yuan was nervous when he first arrived, to the moment he glanced up secretly, he quickly lowered his head. And then to the last 4 places of hope, pretending to be idle. This is simply the reaction of a standard crush girl when she sees her boy. This girl named Zhou Yueling actually likes Chen Yuan too. Lin Yan retracted her gaze. As a result, it fell to Lin Lele, the younger sister who was actively looking for a topic to chat with Chen Yuan. Finally, he looked at his own reflection on the glass window beside him. How much is this Chen Yuan liked by girls? Only. Lin Yan found out. Chen Yuan faced his sister Lin Lili's initiative to find a topic. Doesn't seem like you're interested. Just one hit and no hit back. Recalling what my sister said to me earlier. After she was admitted to Longhua University, she confessed to Chen Yuan. Lin Yan suddenly had a bad feeling in her heart. Beside Chen Yuan, Lin Lele was actively looking for a topic. It's a pity that Chen Yuan is now absent-minded, just replying sentence by sentence. He is now planning his plans after going to Longhua. Allotted a fixed time every day to go to Longhua's library to observe the original text of the corresponding spell skills. Strive to master advanced gold level skills of earth and wood elements without using classic simulations. Then, start the preliminary study of the original canon of bloodline transformation, and strive to be able to carry out in vivo experiments within a week. Of course, the brush copy cannot fall. Longhua has mastered many precious copies. Among them, whether it is the explosion rate of ordinary monsters or dungeon bosses, or the quality of drop rewards, they are much higher than ordinary dungeons. Even, in the reward that Longhua gave him, there are still experience packs and 2 turn scrolls that are not used. In 1 turn, he brought the power of the undead and the broken scepter to himself. I don't know what kind of new surprises it will bring to me. Okay, the teleportation array will be ready soon, you will relax later, don't resist. The staff at the teleportation site reminded Chen Yuan aloud, and then Chen Yuan came back to his senses. Speaking of which, he hasn't experienced the space teleportation array yet, so he doesn't know how it is formed and how it uses the power of space. Feeling a little curious, Chen Yuan silently opened the Eye of True Sight, intending to look to see how the teleportation circle works. Even if I can't understand it with my current knowledge, it should be possible to observe it. With this thought in mind, Chen Yuan was at the moment when the teleportation formation started to function. Begin to analyze and detect the construction and operation principle of the teleportation array with the Eye of True Sight. The Eye of True Sight, which can analyze the data of all things in the world, can naturally easily penetrate the mana cover arranged on the space teleportation array. Soon, a huge, obscure, and complicated super-giant spiritual power construction model appeared in front of Chen Yuan. Even if he just glanced at it, he felt that his spirit began to vibrate sharply, as if he was about to collapse. Without any hesitation, Chen Yuan immediately closed the eye of true sight. But the aftermath of that mental shock make him have to take big breaths of air to calm himself down. This scene was noticed by Lin Lele, who had been secretly observing Chen Yuan. Although she was also riding the teleportation array for the first time. That lovable little face was already faintly pale. But after seeing Chen Yuan's performance, I thought he was uncomfortable because of spatial fluctuations. Originally, he wanted to reach out and gently squeeze Chen Yuan's hand. But in the end, he took it back, just waving a small pink fist and cheering weakly. Come on, I think everyone said that the first time sitting in the teleportation array will be uncomfortable. This scene was seen by Yan Gui. The rosacea-nosed old man smiled. You guys, you will definitely sit in the teleportation formation often in the future, so it's better to get used to it in advance. Obviously, even Wu Yi was uncomfortable due to sitting in the teleportation formation. In this regard, Chen Yuan did not explain anything, but was shocked by the unimaginable complexity of the teleportation circle in his heart. But think about it, after all, this is the crystallization of human use of space power, and it is not complicated. Imperial Capital, the main entrance of Longhua University. The majestic and huge main entrance is constructed of Yilongxiahua rock as a whole. On both sides of the exquisite relief sculpture, there are two dragon stone sculptures lying down, which looks domineering and magnificent. At this time, the huge square in front of the main entrance was full of people. As one of the many teleportation points of Longhua University, it just happens to be the designated place for the freshman enrollment report. Have you heard? It seems that this year's Longxia champion will also come to Longhua. I already knew it. I also knew that when he was in the examination room, the principal of Imperial College went to his place, but he didn't take him with him at all. It would be domineering to say that he did not consider Imperial College. 1. A big guy who has completed all 70 levels with a 100% CJEB level, how can he not be domineering? If I were him, I would be 100 times more arrogant than him. Ha ha ha, then you have to do it. By the way, brother, how many names do you have in your province? I came in 7th in our province. Me, I'm the champion of Qishan province. I'm bothering you, brother. As one of the two top universities in Longxia, even if the momentum of development in recent years is slightly weaker. But there are still many top students from provinces and cities who choose Longhua among Imperial University and Longhua University. Therefore, here, the top 10 in the province in 3 steps and the champion in 5 steps is really no joke. It's just that most people's discussions now are related to the mysterious Longxia champion. Everyone wanted to know how, as a wizard, he managed to pass the entire dungeon of the exam perfectly. In the expectation of everyone, it didn't take long. The teleportation array on the square suddenly lit up. On the display screen next to the teleportation array, the teleportation information displayed is Hangzhou City, Imperial Capital. This time, the whole square suddenly boiled. Everyone already knows. This year's Longxia champion, it's in Hangzhou, Jiangsu and Zhejiang province. That means that the one who will emerge from the teleportation formation later is the mysterious, the strongest champion in history. In the hustle and bustle of the crowd, the door of the teleportation array gradually opened. Then came out 2 middle-aged people. This time, everyone was stunned. Who are these two? Do you know him? Do not know. And you? I don't know either. You don't know the principal. Say, are you spies from Imperial University? Finally someone recognized Yan Fu's identity and said with a joking face. Headmaster, the principal will pick it up in person. This is the gold content of the strongest champion. As a provincial champion, I think it's reasonable. 1. Add me. Then what? I'm not the provincial champion, but I also want to be reasonable, no problem. Joking. Chen Yuan and his party. And finally appeared in front of everyone. Wow, the eyes of countless people present. He was first attracted by Zhou Yueling, Lin Yan and Lin Lele. After all, no matter who the 3 girls are, they all have their own unique beauty. One is cold and beautiful, one is generous and beautiful, and there is even a cute little loli. However, reality is ruthless. After the initial surprise, almost everyone's eyes or removed from them without hesitation. It fell to the boy behind him, who lowered his head, as if he was thinking about something. Everybody knows, this year's long shot champion is a boy. So, he is the strongest champion, who broke the historical record. Big guy is awesome. I don't know who suddenly shouted aloud in the crowd. As a result, all the new students in the entire square were directly driven. Big guy is awesome. Almost everyone was shouting. After all, they are all people who have just gone through the big exam. Know how perverted the level after the big exam is. The more this is the case, the more I know how difficult it is to pass the exam with a 100% completion rate. Many people think so. This is a miracle. Overwhelming cheers came. This brought Chen Yuan back to his senses. Raising his head, he saw excited and adoring gazes all around him. You guys are really welcome. Yan Gui smiled with that big wine Li's nose, patted Chen Yuan on the shoulder, and continued. I guess, when you start school, the little girl who sends you the love letter will go from the north gate to the south gate. No interest. Chen Yuan dropped a sentence lightly. To be honest, he really doesn't have much interest in ordinary girls. As for appearance, so far, of the women he's seen, no one can compare to Kai Fei and Lu Li. Every day in the face of the two of them. You can say it this way. It has raised Chen Yuan's aesthetic threshold to a rather exaggerated level. As for other things, really he is the master of Lu Li. Has the supreme absolute command. It's totally okay to let her do that with herself. Although there is no body temperature, it is injected with the element of fire. It should also be possible to heat to achieve the same effect. This is not a problem. However, Chen Yuan didn't have that kind of interest for the time being. The desire of the lower body, in his opinion, is only the most low-level desire. To truly satisfy people's desires, they should be long-term, high-level desires. Only, after saying things that are not interested in women. What Chen Yuan didn't notice was that, beside him was always the enthusiastic Lin Lele. A hint of loneliness suddenly flashed in his eyes, his palms clenched slightly, and he stuffed something back into his pocket. All right, all quiet. After taking the microphone handed over by the school staff, Yan Fu shouted aloud. Only then did the big guy, Chen Shen, and please give me a chance, all over the sky slowly calm down. To be honest, Yan Fu didn't even think about it. This group of freshmen would show such enthusiasm for Chen Yuan's arrival. He originally thought about whether a few provincial champions would be dissatisfied with Chen Yuan or something. The result, none. Everyone treats Chen Yuan like a god. The admiration in his eyes is even more than that of the principal Long Hua. What do you mean by this? However, complaining is complaining. See this scene. As the principal of Longhua, Yan Fu is still quite proud. That's right, Longhua should have such an atmosphere. The students live in harmony and the atmosphere is harmonious. Compared with the group at Imperial University, what kind of gradation is there? Classify students of different strengths, and advance through challenges every semester, which is 100 times stronger. At least, that's what Yan Fu thinks, and I don't know what other people think. Cough cough. Everyone, listen to me. Today is the day of our Longhua University freshman enrollment. As the president of Longhua University, I extend a warm welcome to your choice and joining. Everyone, you don't have to keep staring at Chen Yuan next to me. You must know that each of you is either the top 10 in the province, the champion in the province, or there are specially recruited students with special talents. You are all the best. The strongest. It is the hope of Longsha's future younger generation. Chen Yuan can be regarded as the goal of hard work, and the motivation to upgrade, learn, and become stronger. But remember, don't belittle yourself, don't believe in yourself, you know. Understood. After everyone answered in unison. It was a round of warm applause. Clap clap clap. To this rich but amiable principal. Everyone left a pretty good impression. Okay, on your first day of school, I won't take up much of your time. Next, the admissions teacher who brought you here will take you to go through the corresponding formalities. The time after this is up to you to allocate by yourself. What you should pay attention to is that tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, we will gather here, and I will introduce you to the content of the mutual training of freshmen. Clear? Clear. Okay, then disband. With Yan Fu's disbandment, Everyone in the square was taken away by the corresponding admissions teacher. Chen Yuan and his party were naturally led by Yan Gui to go through the corresponding procedures. This procedure is mainly to apply for a student card. Convert the scores corresponding to the big test into points in the student's card. These points are the universal currency of Longhua, and they will be used for leasing a better place to live, purchasing the right to enter the dungeon, purchasing resources, etc. It can be said that as long as you have enough points, you can enjoy almost all the resources of Longhua. I'm telling you, this student card, what are you looking at? When I was about to explain the corresponding rules to a few people, Yan Gui noticed that both Lin Lele and Zhou Yueling were distracted by the side. It wasn't until he followed the line of sight of the two of them that he suddenly realized, and explained with a smile. You don't have to be surprised. The imperial capital is the center of Longxia, and there are still many aliens living there. The one who walked over just now is amazing. It's the head of our spell department in Longhua, Professor Mona, an elf. 1. Mona is in a good mood. She has just finished the course, Principles of Advanced Spells, for senior students. I heard that a new elf chef has come to the school cafeteria. She plans to go to the cafeteria to taste the taste. But when she was walking down the road, on her chest, a necklace of 3 tiny rings interlocking. Suddenly there was a faint reaction. After sensing that reaction, Mona was stunned. This necklace was given to her by her priestly father on her coming-of-age birthday. She still vividly remembers that day, when her father said, "My beautiful daughter, this necklace has been passed down from generation to generation in our family. Although I don't know what it's used for, according to family practice, I will give it to you when you are an adult. My father, your grandfather, once left me this sentence. If the necklace is sensitive, please follow him and serve him. You don't have to ask me what I mean by that, because I don't know either. Perhaps since your grandfather's grandfather's grandfather, the saying has been passed down from generation to generation." 1. Gollum, get out of memory. Mona's throat rolled slightly. Immediately afterwards, his eyes swept around quickly. I found that on the way, only a few people not far away passed by. Without any hesitation, the figure immediately disappeared in place. When Mona appeared in front of everyone, Yan Gui is still introducing Mona's identity leisurely. Until Lin Lele secretly pointed behind him with a weird expression. Only then did the old man realize that Mona had come behind him at some point. It's just that because the strength gap between the two is too large, he didn't find it at all. Professor Mona, you are. Yan Guigong wanted to ask Mona what to do. Suddenly I thought of Mona's proposal at yesterday's meeting. I thought that she didn't give up yet. It came to Chen Yuan. So he raised his eyebrows. Aren't you still thinking about Chen Yuan? Chen Yuan. Mona was slightly taken aback. The boy in front of him is this year's big exam, the champion. It seems that there is nothing special about it. However, after just one look, she withdrew her gaze. The reason why she came was not for this matter, but to find out who was the one who caused the necklace to react. Sorry, Professor Yan Gui, it's not because of my previous proposal. Please let me go. Mona met Yan Gui many times in school, and the two also worked together. If the necklace is because of his reaction, it should have been discovered by himself. From this, it can be seen that the one who caused the necklace induction must be one of the remaining people. So, who will it be? He looked at the unknown people in front of him. Mona held the 3-chain necklace she just took off in her palm. He nervously walked past Lin Lele, Lin Yan, and Zhou Yueling in order. As a result, the 3-ring necklace has never responded. This time, Mona's eyes turned to Chen Yuan again. Is it? The one who triggered the necklace reaction, is he? He met Chen Yuan's calm gaze. Mona took a deep breath. Holding the necklace tightly, he walked over. Until Mona walked in front of Chen Yuan. The 3-ring necklace still did not respond. Seeing this, Mona's heart was suddenly relieved. You know, that old family proverb that has been passed down for generations. If the necklace is sensitive, please follow him and serve him. She was extremely resistant. Follow, serve. She is the most powerful and mysterious mystery elf among the elves. She is also the daughter of a priest, and serves as the head of the spell department of Longhua University. Let her rely only on an old family proverb. To bow down and give yourself willingly and serve as servants of others. It's absolutely impossible. Look at doing some weird things. Mona also wanders from time to time. Yan Gui's eyes gradually became strange. Professor Mona, what the hell are you doing? Facing the suspicious eyes of the crowd, Mona put the necklace in her hand again, showing an apologetic smile to several people. Feel sorry. I may have made a mistake just now and wasted your time. Now that I figure it out, it should be my own problem. I'm sorry. 1. After he finished speaking, he turned and left under the still puzzled eyes of everyone. I must have made a mistake just now. It should be just a hallucination. In fact, the necklace didn't react at all. When entering the dining hall, Mona was also amused by her nervousness. This is just an antique necklace that has been passed down for a long time. That family proverb might just be an ancestor's bad taste. Shaking her head and throwing all these thoughts out of her mind, Mona walked to the window of the new elf chef. After Mona left, Yan Gui pouted, although I don't know what the hell this guy Mona is doing. But since everyone has gone, that's it. Let's go. Continue to go to the Academic Affairs office to apply for a student card. Several people followed again and headed towards the Academic Affairs office. But no one noticed. A strange color flashed in Chen Yuan's eyes. What happened just now, what the head of the department was doing, Chen Yuan didn't know. However, when the head of the department put on the necklace just now, he was attracted by the strange necklace. The 3 rings are interlocked. Transparent, red, gray. This is the color of the 3 little circles. This shape, in Chen Yuan's view, not so much for aesthetics. Rather, some kind of special symbol. With this thought in mind, Chen Yuan silently searched for the corresponding symbols in the world originals. Intel, there is really a corresponding entry that jumps out. World originals katakana middle dot culture katakana middle dot symbols. Trinity, in the eyes of a wizard. The world is made up of 3 things. Soul, flesh, truth. The soul seeks truth. The truth provides the possibility for the construction of flesh and blood. The soul is born again from the flesh. In this way, the world is born. As a symbol of the wizarding spirit, the Trinity is often formed by 3 rings of different colors. The transparent ring represents the truth, the gray ring represents the soul, and the red ring represents the flesh. Really, that special necklace. It has a very special meaning. It is indicated by the sources of the world's original books. It symbolizes the Trinity in the wizarding spirit. For the Trinity, Chen Yuan agrees, but he couldn't help but wonder. The King of Magic, why have such a necklace? From her appearance and Yan Gui's introduction, she is a pure elf. Elves and wizards, either way, there seems to be no connection between the 2. Also, she just came over with the necklace. The act of staying in front of several people separately. It is clearly discerning something. But looking at her appearance, it should be a failure. Is it? It's because of his sorcerer status. Triggered some kind of reaction with that necklace. But this is just speculation and cannot be verified. Okay, this is the Academic Affairs Office building. 1 inch. You need to enroll here and then apply for your student card. Yan Gui's voice made Chen Yuan recover from his thoughts. After temporarily suppressing this matter, he followed. Lin Lele, the big test score is 8,432 points, which are converted into corresponding points. Zhou Yueling, the big test score is 6,942 points, and the special enrollment bonus is 20%, which has been converted into corresponding points. Chen Yuan, the big test score is 107,000. Has been converted into corresponding points. The staff of the Academic Affairs Office, who was in charge of handling the student cards, handed the student cards to Chen Yuan and the 3 of them respectively. After getting the student card, Lin Lele looked quite excited. Chen Yuan and Zhou Yueling were relatively calm after all. Okay, the basic procedures are now complete. Next, as long as you check in, you are almost officially a student of Zhao Longhua. As for accommodation, the student accommodation area in Longhua has a total of 3 divisions. The first area, which requires 2,000 points of rent per month, is a single-family villa. The second area, which rents for 500 points a month, is the apartment type. The third area, which does not require rent, is a 4-person dormitory. Hey, how is it? Where do you want to live? Yan Gui asked cheerfully. Lin Lele was the first to answer. I'm going to live in an apartment with my sister. This was something they had already discussed before, and no further consideration was needed. Well, I also choose the apartment. After thinking about it for a while, Zhou Yueling also chose the apartment. She is not used to the 4-person dormitory, and she does not want to deal with others. But the single-family villa, even if she has the 20% bonus of the basic points for special enrollment, she can't afford it at all. Therefore, the apartment is her best choice. I need a single-family house. Chen Yuan did not hesitate and chose the villa area directly. Not to mention that Kai Fei once asked for a separate room that belonged to her. He was not too embarrassed to leave Luli alone in Paradise Lost. As a result, his demand for the room will be relatively large. Secondly, the villa area is relatively quiet, suitable for various experiments after Chen Yuan. Naturally, if other people live together, it will be a little troublesome no matter how you look at it. Okay, if you two, I will let Lin Yan take you to go through the formalities. Chen Yuan, I'll take you to the villa area. 1. After a series of procedures that are not complicated, check-in procedures were successfully completed. The single-family villa rented by Chen Yuan is located on the west side of Longhua Garden of Longhua University, with a good location and beautiful scenery. The most important thing is that the closest other single-family villa is also nearly 1 kilometer away. In this way, it will be much more convenient for Chen Yuan to do things in the future. At the door of the villa, there is no need for anything else. Yan Gui explained a few words and said that he would contact him at any time if he had something, and then left. Kai Fei, who has always maintained the form of a red fox, followed Chen Yuan. This has reincarnated into human form. Well, it's not bad here. Looking at the quiet surroundings, plus that luxurious detached villa, Kai Fei's face was full of excitement, clearly eager to try. Can't wait to experience luxury living. And as early as before the procedure, Chen Yuan has already gotten to know the managers responsible for leasing the villas. The single-family villa contains almost all the furniture and essential daily necessities, and it is guaranteed to be able to move in directly. After entering the villa, exactly as said, all kinds of furniture and daily necessities are available. The single-family house has a total of 3 floors. Chen Yuan plans to live on the 2nd floor by himself and use the rest of the room as his own laboratory. As for Luli and Qifei, they were arranged by Chen Yuan to live on the 3rd floor. After settling down in your own room, Chen Yuan took a short rest. After recovering a little bit of spirit, removed unused experience packs from personal storage. Chen Yuan estimated that these experiences are combined enough for him to upgrade from the current IV.17 to IV.20. Therefore, without any hesitation, he directly applied them to himself. With the golden light flashing, a warm current flows. Chen Yuan's rank also soared from IV.17 to IV.20. With a 3-level increase, strength and agility are increased by 3 points respectively, and mental strength is increased by 5 points. But attributes are not what Chen Yuan is focusing on now. His attention was focused on the 2nd turn scroll in the personal warehouse. As a wizard, every job change can expand a new power system. It is equivalent to opening the blind box, which is often the most anticipated moment. Chen Yuan took a deep breath, crushed the 2nd turn scroll in his hand. Ding! You used the 2nd reel. You have gained arcane power. Expansion of the arcane wizard system. Followed by the beep. Result. But nothing happened. If I remember correctly, after Chen Yuan used the 1-turn scroll last time, he directly gained a trace of undead power. Through the power of the undead, he tried to transform the first undead creature, and then obtained the broken scepter. But this time, use the 2nd reel by yourself. Why did nothing happen? Also, what does this so-called arcane refer to? With a lot of confusion, Chen Yuan opened the World Original. After searching for arcane, the corresponding entries are displayed. World Originals, Arcane Chapter. Arcane, a study based on the most essential principles. By making a clear theoretical definition of the vague magic principle, it exerts its greatest power. The spells cast with arcane power have a crushing effect on ordinary spells. A. The most essential principle study. Can ordinary spells be used with maximum power? Looking at the explanation in the original text of the world, Chen Yuan was puzzled at first. Immediately, it is understanding. By the end, I have thoroughly understood what this means. That's right, recalling the spells that he currently has. Almost all just know how to operate the elemental forces and release them. It is a kind of learning that only knows what it is, but does not know what it is. In order to pursue the maximization of power and efficiency in a short period of time, you only want to master it for the sake of mastering it. In this case, how to practice the spirit of wizards and seek the so-called truth. Thinking of this, Chen Yuan immediately calmed down and began to try to analyze the spells he mastered. See if you can try turning them into arcane magic. Starting from Inferno. Its spell effect is to ignite a raging fire in a large area, causing a very strong explosion and burning effect on the enemy. The reason why it is countless times more powerful than the general fire burning effect is because a large number of fire element particles need to be compressed into the smallest space volume. In this way, each compressed space is equivalent to a miniature explosive unit. Once the fire element is ignited, an explosion will be generated, resulting in a huge destructive force. If, in this compressed space, I can dope a part of gold element particles. The volume of the particles is very small, even smaller than dust. Using the principle of a dust explosion, the rapid combustion of a mixture of tiny gold particles and oxygen with a force comparable to heavy bombs. There was a trace of fire in Chen Yuan's eyes. He can't wait to try this brand new arcane magic. At this moment, the system beep sounded again. Ding! Complete an arcane analysis. Achieve the achievement, Master of Arcane Dark Iron rank. Reward, Ring of Arcane. New achievements, Arcana Master. As the number of arcane spells analyzed increases, this achievement can be continuously advanced. It seems that whenever a new system is developed, one practice of the system needs to be completed before subsequent rewards can be obtained. After obtaining the power of the undead last time, he also obtained the broken scepter after transforming the crow that passed by chance into an undead creature. Thinking of this, Chen Yuan's eyes fell on the new equipment he had just acquired, Arcane Ring. Unknown rank Arcane Ring. Introduction. From the outside, it looks like an ordinary bracelet, but it is actually the crystallization of the most advanced wizard craftsmanship, which can connect with the soul. Characteristics. Arcane engraving. Every time an arcane analysis is completed, it can be perfectly re-engraved and recorded. After the recording, if you want to release the corresponding arcane spells again, you don't need to use mental power to perform complex and detailed spell manipulation, you only need to charge the arcane ring. Characteristic. Stigma of the soul. Every time an arcane analysis is completed, a nick will be left on the soul. When the number of nicks is sufficient, it will be the first stigmata. Another piece of equipment of unknown rank. The most advanced technology of wizard craftsmanship. The arcane ring doesn't seem as mysterious as the broken scepter, but it gives a rather special feeling. This feeling is somewhat similar to the first time Chen Yuan used the world classic. It's as if the invisible truth materialized in front of your eyes. In this regard, Chen Yuan said that knowledge is power, truth is power, and there is no exaggeration at all. The introduction also says that it can connect with the soul. What does that mean? Chen Yuan put the arcane ring on his wrist. Immediately afterwards, a very subtle feeling struck. This is a special experience that Chen Yuan has never had. Something like 723, Buddha is guiding him. Guide yourself to close your eyes. Look inside yourself. There is no resistance to this guidance. Chen Yuan slowly closed his eyes. After the initial darkness, in the deepest depths of that darkness, as if something was calling me, Chen Yuan's consciousness kept sinking and sinking. Until, in front of Chen Yuan, a tiny spot of light appeared. Chen Yuan gets closer, gets closer. Follow that spot of light until you come to it. Look at the quiet faint light group. In an instant, Chen Yuan had a special feeling. This light group is the so-called soul. Chen Yuan's soul. But, can people see their own soul? Chen Yuan's confusion didn't last long, and he was caught by a notch on the light group. That is, after I analyzed Inferno just now, the scars left behind. Chen Yuan observed carefully. Find where the notch is. The light is slightly brighter than other places. It seems that his soul has been strengthened to a certain extent. although this enhancement is still extremely weak for the time being. Perhaps, this is the so-called soul score of the arcane ring. Said to wait until the number of notches is large enough. Can it condense into the first stigmata? What is the stigmata? Chen Yuan tried to open the world's original scriptures. However, I found that I couldn't check it for the time being. The spiritual power limit of the stigmata entry was not lower than that of void. Exit from the endless darkness. Chen Yuan slowly opened his eyes. The slightest change in sight. But for some reason, he always felt as if became clearer. To describe the world with clarity may not be an appropriate adjective. But that's how Chen Yuan feels. Besides, to his own soul. Always feel too weak. Even the mental power attribute has broken through the 100-point mark with the upgrade. But his soul is still like a flickering candle that may be extinguished at any time. Is there a possibility? Wait until that day, when my soul can shine like the sun. Chen Yuan was eagerly looking forward to it. But soon, he temporarily abandoned this unrealistic idea. At least, in a short period of time, this will be an unrealistic fantasy. What we can do now is to first experiment with the augmentation effect of arcane analysis on spells. Then add one to the plan. Complete the analysis of at least one spell every day. Add soul marks, try to condense the first stigmata as soon as possible, and see what the difference is. After making up his mind, Chen Yuan called Yan Gui and asked where in Longhua University there was a place where he could experiment with the power of magic. Experimental magic power. Then what? There is a testing ground next to the teaching building of the magic department. 1. Can withstand the power. Don't worry, there is a special construction of the magic department. Even that guy Mona is experimenting with the power of magic there every day. She is a platinum-level powerhouse. Next to the teaching building of the Department of Magic, several fourth-year spell students are constantly conducting spell experiments. Today, they just finished Professor Mona's Principles of Advanced Spells, and they feel that they have gained a lot. I am constantly trying the spells that I have not yet fully mastered here, to see if I can completely master it with the help of Professor Mona's on-demand broadcast. On the side, the students of the previous batch of experiments were resting. The release of spells not only consumes mental strength, but also consumes physical strength. During the break, a few people chatted about the favorite topic of the boys in the magic department after dinner. Professor Mona's dress today is so beautiful, as expected of an elves, it looks much better than our human beauties. The elves are also not good looking. It's clearly that Professor Mona is too beautiful. You say a hammer. That's right, it's the first time I've ever seen an older sister who is 25 years old and looks younger than a freshman. You're the only one who deserves to call Professor Mona's sister. You shameless idiot. Ha 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 ha, if possible, I'd like to change this title to wife. Did you eat a bear heart and a leopard? Why, isn't it daytime? Isn't it normal for me to daydream? Ha 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 ha, you are self-aware. While a few people were making jokes, someone noticed a somewhat unfamiliar face swiping his card into the spell-proving ground. Who is that brother? Why don't I seem to have seen it? Which class? Ah, I haven't seen it before, isn't it from our basic elements class? Could it be from the special element class? Don't they have no class today? Several people looked at the boy who had entered the testing ground and said curiously. There are not many students in the magic department, so almost most of them know each other. Now a new face has suddenly appeared, which must have attracted the attention of many people. Wait. How do I think this guy looks familiar? One of them suddenly scratched his head and said hesitantly. Hey, who's here, where are you looking? Remember. The man slapped his thigh sharply. Grass. Come on, shoot, what do you mean? The guy who was slapped on the thigh screamed in pain, but he still wondered who that person was. He, isn't he the long shot champion that we recruited by Longhua this year? Are you sure? The ruthless man who passed the exam copy with a 100% completion rate. It's absolutely true. I've seen his photos before. This junior is ruthless and strong. The key is that he looks handsome, and I remembered it at a glance. I'm going, is it really him? The faces of several people showed curious expressions, and they all stared at Chen Yuan closely. No way, who made Chen Yuan's big exam record too terrifying? The result is not just freshmen, but has spread throughout the college class. After all of them have come through the big test, and they have a good understanding of the difficulty of the subsequent levels of the big test. Now there is a fierce man against the sky, and the copy is directly pierced. It doesn't make sense if it doesn't attract attention. What do you say he's here for? Is it to test the power of magic? But isn't this just entering the school? Other freshmen are probably enjoying themselves, this junior is so diligent. There's no reason for it, the stronger the person, the more swayed it is, right? Will it give people a way to live? Fortunately, it's not in my class, otherwise I feel like I'm going to be autistic. By the way, why did you forget the mutual training of new students? According to the time, it is estimated that it will start soon. Brother Chen is preparing for that time. Yeah, how could I forget about this? Grandma, I still remember when our freshmen were training each other, they were half killed by the dog in the imperial capital. 1. I heard that the person assigned by the imperial capital this year is Ji Yu Qingwan, that elemental mage. I don't know if the poor junior can endure her devastation. It's done, right? Wasn't Zhou Mu the strongest in their sophomore year? Ji Yu Qingwan didn't go to Zhou Mu, this is a relief. You know, a hammer. That guy Zhou Mu has a good personality and a good temper. I guess he won't go too far when training each other. But Ji Yu Qingwan, even I have heard of that guy, except for his good looks, the rest is simple. Bad luck, bad luck. Just when a few people were chatting, Chen Yuan has already found his area. The magic experiment field is divided into more than 10 areas in total. Each area has a large space, and there are magic barriers in order to avoid mutual influence between different areas. The area where Chen Yuan is located is a little far away from a few people. Suddenly, someone proposed, how about we get a closer look? I agree, if Chen Shuidi has any special spell manipulation techniques, he can also learn it at that time. Ha 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 ha, some of our old gold rank seniors went to watch a silver rank junior. Why does it sound so embarrassing? Wait for me. After spending 10 points outside the spell experiment site, Chen Yuan came to the area where he was assigned. After a little preparation, I decided to start the experiment. See how much the power of Inferno, which has been improved to arcane spells, has increased. Of course, if you want to know the degree of increase in power, you need to set up a control group. For comparison, it is naturally the unmodified prototype, Inferno. Just when Chen Yuan was about to start, Yu Guang suddenly noticed. A group of people are walking towards their area. The one at the head also waved at Chen Yuan. A ruthless apprentice. The guy shouted. Chen Yuan frowned at this title. Soon, the group of people came to Chen Yuan's area. The person who greeted Chen Yuan just now took the initiative to introduce with a smile. Hand off, Master of the Basic Elements class of the Magic Department, behind me are my classmates. What? We don't mean anything else, we just heard about your brilliant deeds and admire you very much. Looking at your appearance, you should want to experiment with spells. I just wanted to ask shamelessly, can you let a few of us watch on the side? Watching. Chen Yuan raised his brows and glanced at the staff not far away. If I remember correctly, isn't the test area not allowing other people to watch, so as not to cause accidental injury? It's okay, I'm fine with Lao Zhou, it's a small problem. Guan Ming said with a smile. Lao Zhou was referring to the staff member not far away. The few of us just want to see how you operate and control spells and learn. As for the aftermath of power, Guan Mo coughed lightly, and pointed to his companion behind him and said. All of us are at the golden rank, so don't worry, Junior, even if you let go, you still have the ability to protect yourself. To be frank, shut down, some are deliberately humbled. After all, except that he is IV.35. The rest of the people also have an average level of around LV.33. No matter how you look at it, it is impossible to be hurt by the aftermath of Chen Yuan's magical power. After all, no matter how strong Chen Yuan is, there is no way that even the aftermath of the spell can hurt them, right? Hearing this, Chen Yuan didn't say anything anymore. After nodding lightly, he began to prepare. Upon seeing this, Guan Mo and several people retreated directly to the edge of the area and sat down, intending to see what the prominence of Chen Yuan's spell release was. Don't make them wait too long. Chen Yuan after getting ready. The Inferno was released directly. The sky is burning with explosive flames. Exudes an endless atmosphere of destruction. This scene made all the people present look dumbfounded. This is hell. Watching the hellfire that Chen Yuan cast easily. Everyone was immediately stunned. To know, this inferno is one of the most powerful range-based skills among the gold-level fire elemental spells. In the magic department, it is estimated that several top students of the fire element class have mastered it. Chen Yuan, a new student who just entered the school, was released so easily. It's no wonder that you can penetrate the copy of the big exam perfectly. This is too ruthless. Guan Mo murmured in shock. After returning to his senses, he immediately cast a spell barrier in front of everyone to resist the fiery impact of the hellfire. It was also at this time that everyone slowly recalled why Chen Yuan wanted to remind him about the aftermath of the damage caused by the spell. If it were someone else, such as Chen Yuan's freshman classmate, or a few rookies in the sophomore and junior years, would be inappropriately injured by Yu Wei from hellfire. This apprentice is so cruel. After the effect of hell gradually dissipated, Guan Mo removed the spell barrier and sighed sincerely. But when a few people wanted to get up, but found that Chen Yuan didn't seem to want to leave, Guan Mo and the others were instantly stunned. Well, I mean him. Continue to experiment with other spells. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.